Futures pointing to more declines coming up this morning, coming off a sharp sell-off yesterday that we saw heading into the close, led by tech and growth stocks once again. Retail sales for December just out there, 1.9% to the downside when everyone was expecting a flat reading there. So more negativity. Again, that's the month over month December number, negative 1.9% when everyone was expecting a flat reading for retail sales. So we'll have a look at some of the retailers coming up here. But yeah, more negativity on top of some bank earnings that we're dealing with this morning. Mixed results out. JP Morgan leading the way to the downside here today as we get a look at some of the first big names reporting for Q4. Mixed results right across the board for the banks, leading, as I mentioned, to the downside. We'll also talk about Tesla coming up. It is back to the downside this morning. A lot of people wondering if the Cybertruck will even happen. Production being pushed off again, even further into 2023. Apple in focus this morning, very active here to the downside early on. Some positivity, though, coming from casinos, and specifically the Macau names, all sharply higher on a new law coming out of Macau. We'll talk about that. It's Friday, January 14th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there's a look at yet another red board here. Not as bad as where we ended things off yesterday in the afternoon, but 0.6 for both the S&P and the Dow. The NASDAQ 0.7 to the downside. TSX futures here in Toronto pointing to a 0.3% decline so far. More negativity for Bitcoin and Ethereum at the bottom end of the board there. Everything else pretty flat. But yeah, bank earnings out, or the start of bank earnings, I guess I should say, out this morning. Not good. Right across the board, we're seeing more selling coming back in this morning as a result. JP Morgan, the worst off at this point. We're also seeing this retail number. That was a big miss, guys, for that retail number for December.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is both the ES and the NASDAQ were kind of bouncing just a tiny little bit there, and then the retail number comes out. Look, it's Friday, but keep in mind a few things. It's a long weekend, right? So markets will not be open. U.S. markets will not be open until Tuesday. So long weekend, a lot of names on their bottoms. I was sort of saying this morning, make sure when you take trades in the morning, you have a bit of a stop. Could be some crazy whipsaw action. There were so many individual names at key levels right now that I can't remember the last time I saw it. And I'm just talking like even round numbers, right? Like we talked about Virgin Galactic 10, we talked about AMC in the after. I'm just talking the after show, AMC 20, Lucid 40. There's one for every number you can even think of. Moderna's below 200. Peloton's getting removed from the NASDAQ 100. So they're under pressure again today. There's a lot to watch, but we have seen this before. You know, it can snap you around at that open. If some of these levels break and they're failed breaks, well, you can get just as badly hurt on a pullback as you can on a fake breakdown as you can, averaging in a longs and doing that kind of a thing. So stick to what's moving, stick to what is good. There's plenty for us to watch today and lots for us to cover here.
Yeah, for sure. Need that sticky note. Okay, yeah, I just sent it out, but I realized I don't think I attached the sticky note. So I will copy that and get on that right now. I was just filming some videos and things like that. So we will do that in a second. I just got to get the sticky note attached to it. And yeah, Microsoft, can you believe we're down to $300 right now on Softies? So, I mean, as that continues to make a crazy, crazy move to the downside, I think this is something that we have to look at here today. Microsoft back down to $300. So yeah, interested in that one for sure. But yeah, what a crazy day we should have here today. It's Friday. I'm going to work on that sticky note right now as we speak and get that out to you. But yeah, nice, crazy day. And we have a special return member of our family today that we're really, really happy to have.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. Going to get Miss V back on here. I was just watching XRT. Not a lot of volume yet, but some of the retail names under pressure here following that number. Down 1.6 right now for some of the ETFs on the retail side. As mentioned, she's back in the building, feeling much better after missing the week. We're so happy to have her back. Good morning, Miss V.
Good morning, guys. I'm so glad to be back. I missed you all so much. I wish you a wonderful trading Friday. Please smash the like button and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yep, let's get it started, guys. Lots to discuss here as we head towards the open. Going to be a very busy morning. If you missed it, there a big miss on that December retail number, negative 1.9 versus a flat reading expected for December. So that may impact some earnings coming up here for some of the retailers, one would think. Anyways, there's that note. Neil, you were just mentioning this. Old Dominion Freight Line set to replace Peloton in the NASDAQ 100. So more negativity here for Peloton. I mean, there's tons of angles we can take here this morning. The bank earnings not good, obviously, across the board. I mean, even the good was kind of okay. So, I mean, a lot to choose from here today.
Yeah, a ton. I mean, good point. The Old Dominion, I knew one side of the headline. The other side of it, maybe less interesting. I don't know. I haven't looked at what Old Dominion is doing, but it's interesting because they said there's a stock for every stop level, and then Sean points out Microsoft 300. So now I'm kind of figuring what's sitting at $100 because there has to be something. It just feels like everyone you go to. I'm pretty sure on the bank earnings standpoint that it's JP that's down the most here, down 4%. Now, obviously, you've probably heard the refrain. You can listen to like a million channels, so they always talk about how this is normal course for the banks, and they tend to calm down in a couple of days. These wicks are pretty ugly, but that could hold true next week. Start looking at where the range bound might be if you're looking to get into any of these. I know for me next week you're looking at Morgan, but they usually come about the same. I wouldn't expect anything different out of Morgan than JPM. JP comes with the disappointing, I suppose, trading numbers. That was offset by iBank. So the numbers weren't that bad overall, but you get that 50-period break, the 200 looming here, but there is support a little bit lower. I don't think the banks are going to be the place to trade today. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, who cares? There's other stuff moving. Like Lucid just broke the 40 level. I'm wanting these, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. Like we like these levels, but you want there to be volume. You want them to break on the open. You want them to be traded at the open when there's more volume coming in. Like light volume, 40 break, that just feels like a bit of a trap. I'm in Virgin Galactic. I tend to put that in a different bucket. To me, it's easier to short Virgin Galactic through 10 because I have a harder time feeling like there'll be buyers on it than Lucid, where, at some point I expect there to be buyers come in. Maybe it won't happen until after the lockup, but yeah, I was kind of hoping these kind of things wouldn't get tested until the open. AMC's still there at 20, but this is what we're looking at today. So many things right on sort of obvious stop levels that if people who can't execute in the morning or until the open, 9:30 hits, you trigger those stops, and that's why we're saying have an out if you make trades early on. There could be some crazy whipsaw action.
Yeah, I was talking about getting those Lucid puts, and I missed them. Just literally by pennies, and I don't know if they'd be in the money now. I wanted some 37 puts, which would be printing now when we were at $45. I don't even want to see what those are at. I hope a lot of you guys got those as well. We've been talking about that the whole time into what was going to be that lockup period, and of course a weak environment for companies that are brand new and unable to make money and simply put our growth stocks, right? And today I don't even have banks on my mind. AMC, this is what's on the sticky note right now. AMC, casinos, Rivian, AMD, Microsoft, Palantir. That's it. Very, very simple. We'll keep it as simple as we can. A couple notes here, a couple notes up here. Make sure that you watch this, join it. Find me on Twitter. I'll put it again up so you guys can find it. But yeah, I don't have much on my mind other than a lot of stocks. But look, there's the XLF. You guys should, at least those of you that have watched every single day this week and last week, I said, right before earnings, and you might as well sell it the day before. Why not sell it any day this week? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Sell your XLF if you're in anything, and you would be rewarded that today. You should have been able to sell yesterday 41.50 or any point in the last week, 41.50, and today you're getting a little bit of a bump down in the XLF. Like I said earlier, I'm even surprised that WFC is up. Wow, and here goes JP Morgan down more. I said you got to sell all these banks. I don't care which one it is, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, WFC. You have to sell them all ahead of earnings just because of the run up that they've had. Now WFC is going to print today. Well, no, see now back down to 56. So The one stock that I was going to write down, it doesn't matter now because it already broke, but I was going to say WFC through 57 would have been the trade, but that's already broken right now. So that's the one bank name that I was going to look at here today through that 57 level, which is right here. We were bouncing up on that, or I guess against it all morning, and then we just broke, and there it is, the cascade down. WFC will be red by the time we open. So, I mean, that's that, and yeah, you got to short all the banks, and I hope you guys got out of your XLF.
I want to talk about vaccine makers here real quick, guys, because more negativity here. NVAX right now 10%, Moderna 5.5% to the downside. There was this note on Pfizer, however, BMO talking positively about Pfizer based off earnings for 2022 on the antiviral pill sale. However, even PFE getting hit here a bit, down 2%.
Yeah, look, in the group, I like Pfizer. I think the pill is going to be great for them. But the story today is the mandate getting shot down, right? So you said NVAX down 10%. I said there was a stock for every single price level that's key. Moderna is through 200 already. However, down 5%. Look, I mean, I'll go back to the daily chart just so you can see the floor that just broke. And is gapped under, actually, on Moderna. This is at about 205. It's been holding that support. It was a huge break when it consolidated at that price level back in the summer of last year, but it's held that support for the most part under a lot of pressure. If you go to the bottom of this channel, maybe a 190 to a 192, and that's going all the way back to a little bit earlier in 2021. But it's 200, and that's what's here right now. I have my plan of action. I just said to trader formerly known as Jude Fernando was talking about Moderna 200. And given there's so many names at these lows, and I'm talking your AMCs, your Lucids, Space, Virgin Galactic, Affirm, $70 as well. I don't know that I'll be making this trade on Moderna unless it pops and gives me that look back into the pre-market high. Like, wait till 9:30, get the pop and fade. It's already broken. I think you had the chance, if you're in early in the pre-market, to grab this one. And there's so much to look at. You do have to pick and choose your spots today. You simply... Like, you can't be long everything in front of a key level. You can't be short everything that's breaking a key level, because your exposure to it, like a failure on the longs or a snapback on those shorts, you've got to be able to control. And that means sort of limiting the names that you want to be in and the timing of getting into those positions. So I'd much rather, go with the stop above like a 204 quarter or something like that, and then see if I can't get short at the open on a pop in Moderna. That way, if things start to reverse, I'm actually getting it with a tighter stop level and not just throwing away like $4 or $5 worth of gross. But this is about the mandate all coming down and some key levels being broken here on mRNA. It's the only one I analyze because that's the one I want to trade, right? Like, I understand NVAX is moving as well, and you can probably look at Pfizer. Pfizer to me has the pill, so they're a bit of a different story. I'd rather stick to the one that I've done the best with.
Yeah, I know Tyrone Bigham's. Yeah, casinos look hot. That's about all that looks hot, right, today. So we will trade the casinos. I am interested in that. I've been throwing like a lot of like sort of cold water or water on Pfizer when we were up here near 60, 61, 62 bucks, and saying that we would want it definitely if it came back into the $50 range. So you're getting that pullback down now in Pfizer, and looks like it's going to be hit again today. Obviously, the faster paced names and probably better for day trade are going to be the ones, NVAX, Moderna, BioNTech, things like that. But I think Pfizer still has, some nice movements here, some obvious trends to look at. And then if you look at a 20-period chart here, 20-minute chart, you can see we are dipping right down to this 54 area one more time. So, we hit 54 last time on a monster dip down in, and it looks like we made the same kind of move here today with a big move yesterday, a big move the day before, and now bumping up against 54 one more time. So that could be an area that you might want to dip into as well. But again, more for a long term, not for anything swing. I think you can really swing a trade like a Microsoft right now down near that 300 level. I mean, this is a no-brainer buy, and I was just like, I'm getting ready to buy more in my account right now. I haven't been stepping into anything really. I stepped into CRM and Shopify, very, very small. I think I'll do a same amount here on Microsoft at some point here today just to see what happens in the open. But what a disaster Microsoft has been as well. I just looked at their PE. It's still 28, so it's still like it's not super low into the teens where you think you get crazy value. But historically for big cap tech, 20 to 30 is pretty reasonable for their valuation. So Microsoft has shaved down about 10, 15% from its highs here down to $300. So you're going to have to look for some value here. It's either going to be Microsoft, I think, or Google down to, wow, yeah, so they're right at that level again. We looked at 2,700 before for Google as well, back to October. Most of the lows that you're going to see in big cap tech are back to October lows. So, you know, any kind of bounce area you get from these should still hold here. So again, look, we already know, the thing about all of this is it's just a little bit confusing because we already know the playbook. So it's just these stocks right now can't find a bottom. And I just think it's worth nibbling in until you're never going to pick the bottom, right? And so I know we have Michael Noss coming up from Trade Ideas. He's probably going to sort of say the same thing. And maybe he's going to be a bear. I don't know. And there's a lot of names to look that are bearish. But I think that maybe even Brendan can ask him. At some point, the RSI gets too much to the downside.
Yeah, before we get to Michael, because there was Vivek in our chat was just like, I know he likes to short, and he was saying, I'm getting the Sean Paul we be burning going on because the market's going down.
Hey, burning up your cash.
My only thing is, the more excited everyone is for the same trade, looking at these levels, let's all take all of these shorts breaking on these lows, right? The more exciting that is, the more obvious to trade, the more caution I think you have to have. That's why I keep saying have a stop in place because the reversals can get even more ugly.
So you're worried about it being too crowded.
That's exactly it. And there's a reason why. I'm not in Lucid right now at 40. I'm not. AMC, we'll see what happens. But Virgin Galactic, it's a different story. To me, it's easier pickings on something where I don't think people are looking to nibble into that stock. If it's at a price level where people might be looking to get into it, then I'm more concerned about buyers stepping in. I wouldn't short Microsoft 300. That's just me. But anyways, just have some caution. It's also a long weekend.
Wow, Tesla's a K
as well.
Tesla's 1K right now. Yeah, Tesla.
Let's go to Brennan because we need to hear Michael's thoughts.
Yeah, let's go.
As mentioned, let's bring on Michael Noss, chartered market technician from Trade Ideas, get some thoughts on where we are overall here, Michael. We'll talk a little bit more about, as you were mentioning last week, directional type ideas here in this environment, though. As we were saying, it's a little bit, you have to understand, I guess, what the outside forces are suggesting when we approach this type of thinking.
Yeah. So firstly, just to kind of what Sean and Neil were talking about there with overcrowded trades, I think that's hugely important. Outside of what I'm going to go over today is that, sentiment, and we actually learned this in the CMT, is that you can kind of take the headlines of The Economist or whatever. As soon as sentiment shifts too far one way or the other, you get that counter trend move. And that's super common. And on Twitter and all of these places right now, you are seeing everyone being incredibly bearish. And, at some point they're going to be right. But, history over the last 2 years has showed us that that's probably a good time to take an opposite bet. And then also just talking about, trends in the market as a whole is that you have to kind of stick with those as long as they're going to continue. And that's more or less what we're going to talk about today. So yesterday we talked a lot about, last week, we talked a lot about the importance of identifying stocks that never get oversold and that using that as a way to identify things in strong trends. And the first slide I have here will go over my rationality for this. We talked about how, trends are more likely to continue than they are to break. And, we're gapping down today and, this might be the end of that. But until it is, we want to continue as trading these trends, right? So Pfizer, for example, is something that I saw was talked about there. And it's the same kind of look where, you look for the trend, you look for a pullback and you look for some sort of continuation in there. What I will say is that I think we are in two markets right now. I think we are in a kind of a value bull market and a growth bear market. So depending on where you're investing, you're noticing and you're seeing two completely different things for your portfolio. So, if you're a long only trader, that means it may be time to rotate into some different things. And if you're long and short trader, you can change from that as well. So, today is going to be the second part of the series where I talk about ways to identify strong trends as a way to kind of keep this in your favor. So this chart is just talking about US momentum names versus just the S&P 500. So this US momentum index is essentially just investing in things that went up. And that's another thing that I actually, I was listening a lot this morning, you can tell, but Brendan was talking about how Peloton was actually taken out of the NASDAQ and another company that's trending upwards is put in. So you have to kind of understand that in a lot of cases, these indexes we look at are also trend following mechanisms, because as soon as something drops enough or becomes a beaten up enough stock, it's moved out of the index. So for those who want to look up this concept, it's just called survivorship bias, right? These indexes generally tend to go up over time, because what they'll do is if something gets beat up too much, they'll remove it, they'll replace it with something that's going to continue. So we're trying to look to continue to do the same thing. So the next chart down I have is the SPY, and we're going to talk about, these are going to look a little bit messy today, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you guys a good idea of, if you're a new trader, how to identify a strong trend so that you can be on the right side of that trend. And this will do two things. One, it will avoid you counter trend trading too much, which I think is really detrimental, especially to new traders. And two, it will keep you out of choppy markets. So this is the SPY rewound a little bit. It's a couple months back, but it's just to show you that if you apply moving averages, any moving averages, right? The numbers are irrelevant, but starting at a high number, like a 200, and then maybe a 150, 100, 50, 200, just incrementally smaller moving averages, when they are stacked on top of each other like this, it makes it very easy for the eye to identify, okay, this is something in a long trend or a strong trend that I should look for pullbacks into. The next chart here is ARC. I feel like I'm picking on ARC a little bit too much, but it's a really good example of something that, if you look at the far left of the chart, it was in a strong trend for a long period of time. And then now you can see the middle of the chart, all of those moving averages are just crossing above and below each other. That's a good time to say, okay, I'm going to stay out of this entirely until something develops in which I can trade. Now, if you look at it for the last little bit, those moving averages are starting to stack the opposite way. So that may showing that we are entering a strong bearish trend on this. So what I did within Trade Ideas, which again is a scanning technology that we record every tick of every stock across all of the US market, and we can manipulate that data, is I've got some symbols for you guys that all of those moving averages are stacked on top of each other. So these are strong trends that I think, if the market is going to continue to be bearish or choppy, that you can kind of hold on, or you can, take a shot on pullbacks. And just as long as they remain in these strong trends, at least you're trading with the short-term momentum in the market. So the first one here is VSTO. This is a sporting goods manufacturing company. Again, just notice all the moving averages stacked on top of each other, a nice strong push and a little bit of a pullback. For me, I'm looking at this one. If we can hold that 44 area, I'm going to be interested in this pullback, see if we can get a bounce up to that high. Next one is BRO, BRO, which is an insurance company. Again, eventually, when you train your eye enough, you'll just be able to look at charts like these and determine the trend. But I do think this is a great way for newer traders who are having that problem. They can just look at that and say, okay, all of these moving averages are fanned out and on top of each other. This one's an incredibly strong name. Let me look for some continuation to ride. So for that name, this is about $70, and this is in the insurance industry. The next one is EXC, which is a power distribution company. It's, again, same look, all of these moving averages fanned out. This thing's in a nice strong uptrend with a little bit of a pullback. 57, I think, is the number to watch on this one. Next one is General Mills, right? Cereal, Lucky Charms, that kind of thing. This one's a little bit more choppy, but again, you can see all of those moving averages still stacked up. And I put in this one to show that your time frame really matters. If you're a shorter term trader, try a 5 period and a 10 period and a 20 period. Longer term traders, maybe 100, 150, 200. And the last one here is JBL. They make circuits, circuit board manufacturing. This one, a really nice looking bull flag here, again, after this really strong trend, and holding, if it holds above 71 or so, I think that's where you could participate.
Great stuff. Michael Noss, chartered market technician from Trade Ideas. I mean, visually, as an aid, as you were saying, you know, it's very, very quick, very, very clear to see, even with the overall weakness in the market, you know, relative strength and underlying strength in individual names. We appreciate your time. As always, we'll speak again next week.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Have a great weekend. Good look there, guys. And, again, from a visual standpoint, very simple, very easy to see, something that even in this current environment, still trending to the upside.
Absolutely, and good to see General Mills on the list. And in my family, my wife not a huge fan of Kellogg's, so always good to see someone else making some moves there. As we talked about, like I said, there's some things moving around. I'm taking profits on the way down in Virgin Galactic, just sort of stair-stepping its way. And there's no obvious levels, so it's just, you're going to have to make sure you're banking. And I want to pull back. I never did this, so I kind of wanted to pull back on the daily, and you got to go pretty far back if it wants to load up, just to see how far you are away. And you got to go all the way back with the first time it's squeezed. And you do have a level down here, and it did touch $9 even. So I would expect maybe that even dollar level could have some significance. Oh my goodness, AMC's at 20.05. It's right here, right now. There's NYSE bid on AMC for 180,000 shares, but that's not eligible for filling until the open. So these prices are starting to come in. It's getting pretty active pretty fast.
Yeah, some big names there talked about from Michael Noss, so definitely pay attention to what he's talking about. I already do have the short to take this through 20, and I do realize that this could get blown up, right? It could hit 20 and then start to rip up there. So let's just talk about this quickly because it already has 600,000 shares. Once it breaks through 20, it'll hit that million. There's really nothing here on the bid, so I don't expect that to be a problem until the NYSE obviously opens up. Then we could get a little spiciness, but if that does happen, which is going to happen right now, expect me to be into a short, and then just off this, I think you got to hold it at least at 21.50 if you want to play this short today. You got to hold it. You can't just like get in and get out. It's from what I can see anyways. On AMC, it's going to be a lot of action here at 20. I do expect it to break 20, then possibly come right back up. So I would say, you know, you're at least waiting. If you're going to trade this thing today, I think you got to wait for at least 21.50 to get out of your short. But again, you know, trade your own book and trade your own style. But I'll be shorting 20. Hopefully it drops down. Leave many bullets in the chamber so that if it does come back up, we're able to short it again. So, you know, anyways, there goes AMC. And let's just quickly, before I go to Brendan, because it's going to be pretty key here, I don't see anything whatsoever. We have Palantir on there. We're going to talk about that today, down to 15.50. JP Morgan to sell. Really, the NASDAQ doesn't come out till 9.25. So until then, I mean, AMC's not even on here from what I can see. So no worries at all. But it's the NASDAQ that I'm most worried about here. Although both markets right now down 1%, the NASDAQ doesn't come until 9.25. This could be like a real nasty day. I'm expecting it to be pretty dirty at the open to the sell side. And then I actually am expecting a rebound today. So let's see if you can pick something up. It might be a good time to put out some of those stink bids, Brendan.
Yeah, just saw 5.4% so far for the month for the NASDAQ, guys. Apple here, top of the list on the upgrade side today. KB Home, Pfizer, Pinduoduo. Interesting to see some Chinese names on this side of the board. There's Zoom. I think it's 74% now off the highs for Zoom. Ford, PayPal, and there's Space as well. We'll get to that, guys.
Yeah, we said there's something for every single price. I mean, Zoom not quite. It doesn't quite get there to that 150 mark. But yeah, like you said, it has been a tremendous fall for them. And you know, this chart's not going to look dissimilar from what I just showed you with Virgin Galactic. And I think a lot of the names that had that run, whether it was actually legit pandemic and growth, or whether it was just like squeezes and hype, it amounts to the same thing. The fallback is pretty huge. There's not much to look at here in terms of where support might be. But if you start thinking about, I think there's a couple of buckets here. There's the types of names where there might be a bit of a bid. I think a little bit more aggressively when these levels break, and those are ones that have reasonable PEs, like Sean said, like still high Microsoft, but not ridiculously high, right? I think those are the types of names that might have a bid. And then something like Zoom, like yes, it could absolutely bounce. I just feel like it's not quite in the highest quality bucket as well. And like I said, some of these things already breaking. Lucid has already gone back and forth at 40, right? So it broke 40, it gave you 30 cents, it's right back in that channel. The whipsaw action is going to be there at the open. There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, look, we're super excited for the action that's going to happen today. Obviously, you talked about Lucid there. Rivian is another name that I'm looking at. Rivian right now, again, it's on our sticky note. And we have a few things to go through today to happen. But 70, oh, wow, it's already at 78. Okay. We wrote down here on the sticky note today that we were looking at Rivian, at 78. It's right in here. And we talked about it, that we wouldn't mind going short before it gets to 78. But obviously, there's no bounce whatsoever. Like when we wrote that note, an hour ago, whatever time it was there, you could see Rivian. This is a 1 minute chart. Like we were up here, man. Like 8:30, Rivian was at $80. You're now down to 78 with really no bids coming through. So yeah, it looks a little bit scary today, and that's what I mean, to say the least. You may want to find some stocks that you like. You may get an epic flush here off the open, especially with banks coming out and doing exactly what I said they would do, miss today. I don't know if they missed or not, but we knew that they, if they didn't say anything positive, that these stocks are going to get crushed. So everyone that was hiding in bank stocks, first of all, you should have trimmed some yesterday. We talked about that over and over again, and there it is today, down that another 4%. But without any further ado, let's throw it over to Miss V and see how she's doing. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, I missed it so much. It's like o'clock, so please guys, if you didn't like this video yet or just joined us, smash the like button, support the community. It's Friday today. I wish you a wonderful day. And please, let's get at least 2,000 likes today. Back to you guys.
All right, guys, we'll bring in Arun here as well, get a check of the overall market. Going to be an important day to understand where we're at on the overall market, the futures. Under pressure, once again, Arun.
Oh boy, that's all I can say. So essentially what yesterday's move did was opened up the downside. It is wide open. So the key level that I was working with yesterday was, I think I made a mistake yesterday. I said 46.80. It seemed like the break point was 46.75. So I missed by about 5 points or so. But once we got through 46.75, there really was no chance for this market to go back up. So here we are down sitting. We've taken out 46.75. That's gone. And then the only level that was nearby, if you call it nearby, was 46.15, and that's gone now. And what do we have downside? There's really nothing until the mid 45s, 4,500. So here we are waiting for this market. If we can just get a bounce off the open, I'd like to start fading. That's my play for the day anyways. We're going into a long weekend. I would expect some sort of a rally at least, because this kind of straight selling since 6 a.m. has to be somewhat relieved at some point. So I wouldn't mind fading into a rally. In the event it doesn't rally, I will step in a little bit, just to start playing on the short side of this. They would need to take out at least 46.55 to get rid of the short-term sell, but then they would need to take out 47.10 to get rid of the much bigger level, which is the major point there. So although we'll play on the short side for the first little bit, in the event that we do cross 55, I'll start looking again for some shorts once we get into the 70s. So there's going to be a two-stage short situation on a day like today. We're going into a long weekend, so keep that in mind as well. Volume might die off if this type of market, it's going to activate some volume, but midday we might get some volume dying off here as some guys decide to call it a day early or whatnot. But at least towards the end of the day, we should get some activity there. At the beginning of the day, we should get some activity there. In terms of levels, like I mentioned, 46.55 and 46.55 and 47.10 are my two levels. So there's a short-term sell and then a longer-term sell. On the NASDAQ, I'm looking at 15,660 as the only marker that I can work with. So it's pretty much a short until we get to that point. But again, that point is like over 300 points away. So there's a massive range that we can work with. In the event that we were to continue to do the downside, there's a ton of space to the downside as well. There's at least 200 points to the downside on the NASDAQ, even though our closest sell point is 300 points away to the upside. So ranges have opened up. It doesn't look too good, but a rally would help the situation to allow for some entries that can at least be risk managed properly, right? So here we are starting the day off almost at 1% on the NASDAQ, and we'll see how this market opens, but hopefully we get a rally so we can work into some shorts.
Yeah, wide ranges, the key, and a good way to describe today. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again on Tuesday, not Monday holiday, guys. So enjoy the long weekend. It's going to be an interesting day, as Arun was saying. Let's jump into what is moving around here in the pre-market, guys. Lots to discuss this morning, so we'll get right into it. Miss V is back. She can help you out with that link if you do want to get a hold of that watch list. Again, Absolutely free. You just need an email address. Let's talk about casino stocks because, yeah, there is a little bit of positivity this morning coming from this group after Macau said they're going to, first of all, limit the amount of these permits and licenses that they give out on a 10, 15, 20-year basis type of thing. So anyone who currently has one, obviously going to benefit from that. And then they also said they're going to increase the amount of public support that can be put into these casinos and licenses granted in that area. So LVS, Wynn, MGM, the three main benefactors for that news this morning, guys.
Yeah, so anyways, yeah, we'll probably both have something to say here. But for me, the interesting part is the 10-year license, because at least now we know for a fact that Wynn is going to be around, and so is LVS for at least that 10 years. So it sort of takes away that uncertainty. We've been sort of pounding the table here on Wynn. It's a name that I've averaged into at that $80 level, and not averaged into, really just started. Where's my daily chart here? Really just started a position here at $80. I think our first buy was like around 84, maybe even 87, but we're averaging in now down to this. Now I'll check the price. I just tried to log in and was getting a bad error message there, but I think it's around 83, 84 bucks as an average price now for Wynn. So I think that's nice, and you know, obviously it's been getting hit again. You know, it's not a huge valuation name, Wynn, but again, you know, not super profitable. But this Macau opening back up should be, I mean, not just opening back up, but now they have sort of the light, and that's part of the problem with a lot of these casino names is they don't have, like, this is now a 9.7 billion market cap, which isn't horrible. They have 3.4 billion in sales. Hopefully that starts to increase now as well as we get more and more people back into the casino. So for me, the biggest change in stock market is uncertainty, and you know, that's part of what's been hitting Wynn. Obviously, it's not in the right bucket either. It's not like a, you know, a low PE name with, you know, guaranteed revenues, and they don't make anything. They provide a service, right, a casino, and there is a lot of pressure with online gambling and stuff like that right now. But I think this is another one of those names that's pent up with travel, and as demand increases, I know the wife and I want to go to Las Vegas. We want to see a lot of you guys in Vegas as well. So, I mean, I'm excited to go back there, and I think that there's a lot of demand for travel, and to me, it's Wynn or LVS on this news, and we'll just wait to see. But what I wrote down in the sticky note was that I think we still pull back here a little bit. Like, that was a big news. I don't know if it's, and I said I don't think it's deserving of 10%, and since then it has pulled back here on the minute chart over the last little bit. I wrote the note again when we were up here, you know, around $93, $94. We've come in, we've just bounced off 90. So what I wrote down on here was that we'd like to go long Wynn around 89 bucks. So let's see if we get that flush down to 89 or so. I think we have a decent base here of operation down in around 88, 87. So a fallback down to 89 makes a little bit of sense. And then if we have to get out or something like that, maybe 88, 87.50. But I like Wynn on a dump. So that's one of those ones that I'm going to have one of those low bids on. Hopefully it does get dumped and we can pick up a decent name here.
Yeah, I mean, the charts are almost exactly the same. I was looking at LVS. Technically, the LVS did have a close above the 50 period. So it gave you this break a couple of times. It kind of gave you this breakout ahead of the news, but the channel below $40 never actually broke. So I think the last time we talked about this, it was LVS that we're talking about, so we'll go back to it. And it broke that 40. You had this level of resistance at 44. I'm actually sort of along the same lines. It already dipped back down to 41. I've been bidding since the morning, trying to catch it in front of that 40 even. And then one more, I'm going to go to the 15-minute here just so you can see. On the daily chart, you kind of saw that level around 40, but this is what it looks like on your 15. It's a little tighter to 39.5. So I kind of feel like that 39.5 to 40, you almost got to give it that room on a dip. And I know these are going to be names that hopefully can perform a little better today. So if you do get a dip, I don't think it's wrong till a 39.50 break, which does change the nature of how you want to enter the trade. And that's why I'm not long on the dip at 41, because I looked back and said, well, if I'm not covering that at 40, I'm giving it to 39.50. I don't like the long entry all the way up at 41. So LVS, I'm on board with it in front of 40 even. 39.50 I like for a stop, and then see if it can continue, hopefully, this run. But we do expect some fireworks at the open, hopefully.
And let's go on to some earnings. Finally getting into some bigger names on the earnings side of things. JP Morgan, the first one we'll talk about here. Yeah, big move down, 4.6 right now, bouncing off 160 after their trading revenue down a little bit quarter over quarter here.
Yeah, sorry, I was just writing some more notes here as answering people on the sticky note as well. Thanks for all the comments there. Look, yeah, JP Morgan. I mean, I'm not going to break down the numbers for you. You can, find other stations if you want that. But I mean, honestly, I just feel like JP Morgan today, downtrend. We've been calling this for a while. I'm not heavily invested in banks other than some of the Canadian ones. I do hold JPM, but I've been trimming that position, and we've talked about that throughout. My price on JPM is like $85 or whatever it was down. I only started buying it when it was COVID time, so that was the only time I've been into JPM. Unfortunately, we do have these downward wicks here, but you are breaking the 50-period moving average. I talked about there's no way we were getting to 173. I didn't feel like banks would have anything positive to say coming out, and it looks like we're going to be right on that one. Down 5% is pretty nasty. I can't remember the last time JP Morgan was down 5%. And oh yeah, it was probably last earnings. So to me, it's no surprise here. I've been pounding the table all week, and those of you in the chat know this, to sell your XLF positions. The banks are a little bit too high here, and if you did that, then you're in the money another 1.5% today. If you still like the banks, go ahead and buy them. I think you could do it at the end of next week. Let them all report, let it settle down, and hey, if you miss the bottom on some of these names, I don't think that that's a bad, that horrible. I mean, we're going to always miss bottoms, and I just think that, just like, honestly, I kind of want to tell people to start selling XLE as well. But right now, XLF, a nice little move to the upside. I believe we're due now, guys, honestly, for a little bit of a tech bounce. And if that does happen, I think people will sell what's been working, which has been oil, which has been banks. So watch out for a small little rotation. I'm a little nervous, obviously, about tech earnings as well. But for me, the banks are a sell, sell, sell every single time you get into earnings season. And the same is true today. So I'm just going to say go short on all the banks. But again, for me, I'll leave it to Neil, but you never really see any of us in too many bank positions. So I'm just going to admit it right now. It's not something that I trade too often. If JP Morgan does have a blowout move downside, then yeah, we'll get involved. Or if it retraces back up, but I want to see it extended a little bit more than this, because this is exactly as I predicted. So I would just say lighten up and take it for the ride down and wait to see what happens with Morgan and BAC and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll stick with JP because I think the chart shows you a bit of the story and why there might not be a trade here today. This I look at. You have a really good cluster before it broke out recently, and this is down. I got to pull back further in the 15, 157.5 around the bottom here, and then breaking out at 160. And if you look at just how far it came down, I'd look back to this cluster, 161 to 162.5. And I think, okay, well, fine. If it breaks 162.5, you could be wrong in a short. When you look at the risk to reward, I mean, you're basically right in the middle of that. Had we been hanging out in this channel up at 163, I think it would have made a heck of a lot more sense to grab it getting into this range, having some targets that maybe it could continue lower. But this is one of those events where the banks tend to do this. That's just par for the course. And when everything gets said about like buy this, sell that, I understand. Everyone's time frame is going to be different. The types of trades you do in accounts, like if you buy and sell and only look at your long-term account on a quarterly basis, then you probably don't care about something like this. But if you're swinging, then you definitely do, and you want to be waiting around. If we talk about names that have gone sort of straight up and are at some levels that might pull back, because keep in mind the S&P has only really S&P ain't pulled back as far as the NASDAQ has. And you start thinking about names that could be trimmed for some profit. It's not just banks and energy. I mean, I was squarely looking at where Pepsi's been in the last couple of bits, and it's just some of the consumer staples are at some levels, and if Caterpillar gets any higher, I'm looking at that one too. So I think people are starting to think about that for all the names that have been doing those good runs, and you have to consider it. But of course, everyone's portfolio looks a little bit different. So just make sure you're diligent.
A couple new members here. Let's go over to Miss V and welcome them.
Yes, welcome to the family, guys. Welcome to the green side, Aaron, Peach, and Erne Gonzalez. We appreciate your support a lot, and shout out to all the members, guys. We love you all. Back to you guys.
All right, let's continue along here. Wells Fargo, Citigroup, both out this morning as well. As we said, Wells Fargo higher. We're back to red already for WFC. Citigroup down anyways, right across the board. The interesting point on Citigroup was they were able to lower their costs substantially during the quarter, but not a good-looking chart here. And I say if we do get a bounce today, guys, and somebody wants to, look to the banking group here for some strength. Obviously, this was the one with the better report anyway.
You're right about that. It's also the one that bounced right off of it. I just showed you a cluster of support on JPM. This is the one bouncing right off of that cluster. The only problem, it's it's a kind of a wide range down here. So again, depending on your risk tolerance, as a day trader, there's so many opportunities today. This is like long in front of 64.50, trying to catch a bounce on Citi when you're not wrong until like $1 lower on a $60 stock. That's asking a lot of bank volatility that I'd rather not be betting on, because do you think you're gonna find dollar winner opportunities on Citigroup, or do you think you're gonna find good risk to reward opportunities on Lucid, Rivian, Space, Tesla, AMC? Where are you going to find them today? I think I know where it's going to be, and it's obviously a guess, and that's what we have to do here. But it probably says a little bit more about the overall economy, how these do the next week in terms of how they perform when all the earnings are out, and talking in the back end of the week. If these haven't recovered by the end of next week, or at least leveled off, then I think it's going to get pretty interesting with the banking names. But there are levels. At least this one has this 64.5 level on Citigroup that is actionable. If you're looking to defend something because you just want to bid at the open and see if it can't bounce, that's probably the one that sets up.
Yeah, like I said, I like that 57 break there on WFC. I was just looking at Tesla bouncing off 1,000 again, so we can watch that as tech is bouncing here. And we talked about that was going to be a possibility on bad. Holy shoot, man. Wow, this is down to 55. Like I said, WFC, this was when WFC was up 1%. I was like, oh, WFC is going to be turned negative at some point here today. And that's exactly what it's just done there. It's just been absolutely cranked here again. Wow, that touched 55. Okay. Look, I don't have anything else to say about banks, honestly, Brendan. I mean, it's just short them if they get back up here. I'm shorting WFC if we get back anywhere near this 57 mark. I don't think it happens, but you can short that if you want against that high of 57.60. So I'm going to park an order here around 57. Like I said, I didn't even really analyze the numbers. I just right away saw that banks would be down. I saw all the notes on them. But again, like I said, if you want to get deep dives into some of these banking numbers, then go ahead and do that. But for me, I don't think it's investable right now for banks. I think it has to come in a little bit more. I think they've gone on a nice run. But again, I think it's all about portfolio management, and we're talking about day trading here. So I'm going to short here around 57 if WFC comes back in. And I don't mean that banks aren't investable at these levels. It's just they've come down here. I'm thinking you got to wait and for all the banks to report, including regional banks that will come out next week as well. And then you're going to get a clearer view of exactly where the majority of these financial institutions feel like 2022 is going to go for them. So for me, WFC short around 57. I'm going to put the order in right now.
More negativity coming through Tesla as well this morning, as Sean mentioned. They're trying to bounce, though, as the market is as well, off 1,000 for Tesla. Yeah, they've officially pushed back the date for the Cybertruck again to late 2023. A lot of people talking about will it ever see the light of day this morning, I noticed as well. So Tesla back to the downside, but as you said, here's 1,000 right here.
Yeah, I mean, a de-emphasis of the Cybertruck has been, I want to say, ongoing for a little bit here. And I can't say this is terribly surprising, and I don't think that's a driver necessarily for the stock to be going down. They just released again, if you look the year-over-year numbers, or sort of the full-year numbers for Chinese auto sales in 2021, they're there, and Tesla's still rounding it out at the top there with BYD, although there was I don't even know the company that was new at number one. It was somebody new, but either way, they're still strong over in China. The Chinese sales were pretty good, and it's their bread and butter, I think, that drives the EV sales. Everybody is coming with trucks. That's right now, that's the hot thing and first to launch, and ultimately, I think it was going to be a challenging market for them with the Cybertruck anyways. But right here, we're here to talk about 1,000 and then this 980 level. I don't think we should lose sight of the fact that we broke 1,000. 1,000 did break just a few sessions ago, and we had that V bottom getting to 980 and then snapping right back. And what was interesting is you had two areas of like consolidation on the way back up. Neither one of those was at $1,000. It was about 990, and then you had up here at 1010. So I'm not necessarily emphasizing that round number at all. I'm looking at the 980 level. If it gets back to the upside, I'm really thinking until it breaks about a 1040 level, it's probably still in the chance of a fade territory there for Tesla specifically. It's a wide range, so again, you got to be pretty cautious with some of these trades. I think that 1,000 is so far away from each of those levels that if you trade off of it, just understand if you're long, you're probably not wrong till 980. And if you're short, oh goodness, that's why I wouldn't even touch a short at I'm not touching a short at 1,000. I'm not sure it's wrong till 1040, and I don't feel like risking $40 worth of gross. And I wouldn't even want to risk $20 worth of gross on the long unless it was an obvious failed breakdown. Like if it's trapped shorts and it snaps back up on a break of the low, that's one way of getting in with some serious momentum. But I think Tesla, that's one I'll probably revisit a little bit later on in the session. It's the other names like you're I keep saying the same ones, but it is. It's like Lucid, it's Rivian, it's Affirm, it's Virgin Galactic for me today.
Yeah, and then another name you can throw in there is going to be NIO. That's down 1.5% as well today. And for me, I just put some bids in down here near 29. You do have some 29 support, I think. Anyways, we'll see if it's going to hold though. Right around here, we'll see if 29 holds. We've been, it's held a couple times here, but it has dipped into this 28 level as well. So again, I don't know, man. It's starting to dip down a little bit. We will check the imbalances out for you in a bit, but just wondering, what, maybe 29 is really not low enough, but we're still $1 away. So, okay, if it can crack down, that would put us down about that 3% if we get that fill down here near 29 today. And then we'll take another fill in this 28.50 area and then really see what we have to do if this wants to break the bottoms again here for NIO. But yeah, you know what, maybe 29 is not in the cards. Let's wait for like a 28 mid here on NIO in case it does fall down. And then because we only have a couple minutes left, let's just do it right now. On the sticky note also, unless it's on the board there, growth crushed. Okay, well, I guess we could talk.
Any of those.
It's going to be any of these names anyway. So the next name we're going to talk about here, right now we're talking about Cybertruck, we're talking about Tesla. So let's just stick with EVs quickly here. And then we'll talk about some growth names like Donkey Kong and Palantir and things like that. Rivian is right back at 78. We've bounced off 78 numerous times. This was the insider IPO price. So whenever lockup happens, most traders are going to be long 78, the inside traders. So you're going to have to wait to see what they do on lockup. Lockup is obviously nowhere near now as Rivian just came to market. So we're going to look to see what happens at the 78 level one more time. I believe you could short through 78 here and then see what happens, but I wouldn't hold it back to 80. So we're going to push the short through 78. We're going to also notice that we've dipped down. I don't know about this day down to 75. I'm not sure if that's true, that wick there, but it could have easily.
Oh, it was. That was a flash crash. I was long in front of it.
Yeah, okay, so that was January. Was that? Yeah, so January 6th. Okay, so right, so that's fine. So it did crash down there to 75. So that's something that we can expect maybe today again if we do break back down through 78. So we're going to watch out for that 75. I think if you take a 78 short and you're lucky enough to get a 76 bid, you should probably take $2 there and then hold the rest for that hero short that may or may not come through. But like Neil said, there's that wipeout there on huge volume. So for me, Rivian is a short. And then also, as you can tell, if it somehow rips back up then and lets us get in around 86, 87, 88, then that's a screaming short as well for me. So these are the names I'm going to be short here today. It's going to be Rivian. We're going to look to Lucid short. And we have a few other ideas, including AMC, AMD on a bid, and Microsoft on some bids. So yep, those are my ideas right now. We're looking for trust Rivian through 78, and then if it kills us through 80, we'll get out and then try to reload that a little higher.
Yeah, a lot of names to talk through on the downside today, including the AMCs of the world. There's Affirm, there's Lucid, there's Rivian, as Sean was mentioning there. So yeah, we're talking about growth stocks here, guys, because it remains not a good environment for them.
No, not at all. And we'll talk about one of those, Affirm. And again, and not to beat up on the daily charts here, but you know what these daily charts look like. The only difference with Affirm its daily chart is its run didn't happen in 2021. Like its breakout happened mid this year, but it's the same story. Now you're going to see this is a level, this is a recent low it just put in at 71.70. This is something that's actually broken its low already. So a lot of these names are teetering on key levels. A firm broke the low that it put in the 10th. And that was the bottom in yesterday's action. So there was no breakdown trade to be had here. It's actually spent time below it. Now 70 does loom as an even number. I'm still choosing to fade it anyways, but this time with a pop. If it breaks out above 72, I'll just get out and accept that I'm wrong. If I get the short 71 half, 71.65, I'll take some out in front of 70 and see how it rides. The other name, I don't know if you call it a growth stock, but let's just talk about where valuations don't matter. Let's just give it that bucket. And we're barcoding off here, well, not barcoding, but bouncing around off $20 on AMC. So this is the other one we talked about in the afternoon show. This is your 20 level on AMC. We dipped down here in mid-December and then bounced all the way up to the 200 period at 32 bucks and then right back to it. So you can see a lot of pressure on this 20 level.
So we just got into WFC there. It just ripped up there. So I don't know what just happened on WFC.
Is there a call on?
Yeah. Obviously the call is on. The WFC call was the one that you got hit on, remember?
Oh, goodness.
That was the one example that you always give about never trade something during earnings. But I don't care. I'm going to short WFC here. It's into that area. Look, if it takes out 58, then we're going to be out of this one. I wasn't expecting it to climb all the way back up. So we're going to try to be as true as we can to our strategy here. And I mean, I can't sit here and say short the banks and then not go short myself, right? So let's put money where our mouth is right now and short this WFC pop. I am back. I'm on the bid like always. If we can get some out here at 50, I think we should do that. It's already a nice 20-cent winner, so maybe we will take some of this out here on WFC, but a nice little move down or move up out of nowhere here. So let's continue to watch WFC as I'm going to get on the bid. If I can take a smooth little 20 cents early and then see what happens on the imbalances, which that's maybe what happened there. No, I don't really see WFC coming on here. There are some NASDAQ names on here, including Microsoft has a bid right now. I don't really see anything. So we thought that there might be some spice coming through. Come on, get me. I'm on the bid right now to see if we can get this fill on WFC for a big win to start the day already. Okay, that's about it. Let's go over to Brendan at the big screen and see what he's talking about.
Yeah, just be careful, guys. I did see some comments for JP Morgan as well, so their call also on right now. Revelation Biosciences up this morning on some COVID-related news, treatment-wise for them, 22% right now, obviously well off the highs. A little bit thinly traded on this, so tread lightly. It's also hard to borrow, 950, 10, and then 1050 on the upside. This was about 750 down here yesterday. This thing barely trades on a normal day, so 750 to 8 might be a good spot for this to get, but REVB already breaking down, guys.
Okay, good one. I don't have to talk about that one because I'm looking at a very similar channel on that name, gap up consolidation. But Vinco Ventures, we'll talk about this because obviously it's been on a bit of a burner the last couple of days, breaking into the upside. And we talked about it at $4. That turnaround with multiple breaks, 330, 350 in the afternoon show. It got to this channel, but couldn't quite get to $4 in the 200 period. Not that the 200 period matters, but anytime it coincides with a key level, I'm going to have some interest in it. You're actually seeing it hold up. So one of the things we talked about was, can it hold that 330 level? For now, it's done it in the pre-market. If this does a failed break down at 330, like it breaks 330, can't get through about 20s, then it could have that snapback trade. But this is the first signal bouncing off a very key level to the upside that it could be headed for a down day. So I do have it on my radar for a pop and fade. It's giving you that look at 350, but I think you'd probably have to give it to 55 or 60 and tread lightly with Vinco Ventures if you're going to short it. It's been very, very strong. So understand that. I do think there's some support down here, but I wouldn't hesitate. This is the first day where I'm actually looking at it for any kind of a short position other than that 330 in the afternoon. So this should be on people's radar with about 2.5 minutes to go. There was one other name that we talked about at the outset of the show. I did have a keystroke error that I could have hung on to on Peloton. Getting replaced, I already forget it's a Dominion Bank? Dominion something. But anyways, being replaced in the NASDAQ 100, Peloton is the story here. I like this 32 level. You pull up the 15-minute. This is the support that 32 area has been. This is the channel that it's been sitting in, 31.50 to 32. Below that, the one time it got there. So I'm shorting in front of that level. Give it just past that 32. If it comes on a pop, I love this level on Peloton. Going to be grabbing that one to the south side. It's another name it falls into that bucket as well in terms of beat up names. But wow. What a bounce on Lucid just now.
Guys, quickly here, I'll put the link address in here again. A quick little video posted up on Instagram. Check that out right here. Will the tech wreck continue? So check it out. We'll put it in there if you have YouTube. YouTube. If you have YouTube, you're watching us, so thank you for doing that. If you have Instagram, definitely check that out. I also just tweeted that out as well, so definitely go have a look. We already cashed out already, so Gronk spike here. We'll see if Gronk, and I like the Gronk TD. Anytime TD, minus 112 at my book. So you can get a Gronk anytime TD prop this weekend for minus 112. So basically 50-50 on that one. I think he scores a touchdown. If you don't like that one, take Mike Evans as well for an anytime TD scorer. Okay, so Lucid on the way back up, you said. All right, let me check to see what that's doing to Rivian right now. Okay, Rivian is 79, so not really at an area for me to short quite yet. We're waiting for a little bit higher than that. But right now, with only 40 seconds to go, man, I think it's going to be Ms. V on the bell. That would make sense. Yep, there she is. So welcome back, meme. But that was Sean, not Gronkowski. Yeah, very good. Yep. But it's the Gronk spike is what we're talking about right now. We already took something out on WFC. It's the only position I have. We're going to wait for a little bit lower on that one. I'm looking at Rivian. I'm looking at UAMC. We'll see if that one can do something at $20 as well. But let's get ready to rock and roll today.
Yeah, and that pop on Lucid into 41, that key level up here at 41.5. So we'll see what happens. Ms. V is back. She is on the bell. Everything is right. We'll see if it can hold up in the markets today. But let's drop it. Holiday shortened week next week. So three-day weekend. 3, 2, and 1.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. Ms. V is back, and thank you. That's always awesome. And there goes WFC again. We just took another 50 bid there on that number, so hopefully that'll come through for us. WFC rate, sorry, not WFC right now. Yeah, that's the only name that I have in, and we're going to watch other names, including AMC, sorry, is what I meant to say, bouncing near $20. Let's see if it can get a bid here as well.
And just to show you, I did get a fill in a firm right before the close, right before the open there at 71.65. That's 72.25, the level I want to be watching there. And we talked about Lucid was making that run. The bounce, it's continuing its push. It's right up to 41.40. Trying to get to that 50 level. I mean, that was my first level. I didn't think this, I thought we'd be going the other way on Lucid. So this might be the most, the tightest stop ever. Because 41.50 was my level, and I thought we'd be fading well in front of it. I just picked it up at 41.35. So yeah, it's going to be a tight stop. I'll give it an extra 10 cents because 15 pennies doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But what a huge run on Lucid right at the open there, guys. So a bit of a bounce back. I'm also watching Virgin Galactic start to bounce back as well.
Yeah, I was going to say Microsoft, we identified that 300 level. We wrote it down. It went down to 301. And I said, man, watch out for tech. Starting to blow back up to the upside today. So tech starting to go, man. We missed these bids. Normally we'd be all over these. AMD starting to go up as well. Yeah, your Lucid just takes out that 41.50 just because that's on my chart. I don't really know why I said that. But Microsoft right now, oh, there's AMD, sorry. That's the name. It's starting to go upside as well right now. Look at my charts. Come on, man. They're not even switching over here. We need to find some levels to get involved with here. But I didn't write down any of these levels because I wasn't expecting this kind of a rip. The only thing I was trying to do now is re-short some of these banks. We're sitting at 57.75 there. It goes up as high as 57.60. Let's adjust that order.
Yeah, and getting very close. My stop is 10 on Virgin Galactic. Thankfully, we took some profit there. The only ones I'm concerned about is going to be Affirm, which I got snapped into. Lucid ends up holding 41.60, but that's just for now. It's Affirm, which just blew it out of the waters. And I said this morning I wanted to have relatively tight stops. Make sure you have an out because if it bounces and reverses on you, even if you think it's a short, there's no way I want to get caught up in a reversal play. So that's going to be the case over here on Affirm. I think it's got to hold bids before I want to jump too quickly into it. And Lucid, same thing. Like I said, it would be a ridiculously tight stop, and it absolutely was. If you're looking at Tesla, by the way, whoops, why did that not flip? There we go. If you're looking at Tesla, back to the 1 minute. It just blew through that 1020 level, but I think it's got a higher resistance point up at 1040. So we'll watch that level. And then Moderna was the other name. Sorry, Moderna and LVS. Moderna blows through 200, blows through 04s, and then right up to 208. So look at the screaming comeback in some of these. What is working, and again, this is a different bucket. Small cap, forget about REVB for a second. Peloton is getting removed from an index, so it feels like it might be in a bit of a bucket. So if I'm looking at something which is actually giving me that pop and fade style trade, it's the things unrelated to the, valuation wreck, I suppose.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. V. Ooh-wee. Okay, there goes WFC, man. Yes, sir. We're only doing one stock today, and it's WFC, and we are reigning supreme on this name. Look at that reload to the upside right there on WFC. Let's get a bid out there. 55. Ooh, no, my bids are only at 55. We got to get at 56. Here comes WFC right to the downside, man. As expected for me, man. This is what exactly we wanted, but we got to take advantage of this, as that's a big move to the downside. There it is. Another cash out right there at 65 on WFC as it's coming to the downside here. Just reload. Hey, I like this view. That's a cool one. Reload. Where's that camera? Hey, what's up? Let's point. There it is right there. Hey, what's up? We got the Trader TV Live water here, and we're getting excited. We only have one trade. That Rivian used to, or came close to 81 there. That's where we were trying to short that. Are you kidding me? We're at 80.90 right now on that trade, but here comes Rivian right back into the downside. Oh, man, we missed that. That would have been an awesome trade. We'll have to check back on Lucid because I know that, I mean, if Rivian's going down, I know Neil's looking at Lucid. I'm not on that.
Rivian's still up. Sorry.
Go ahead, yeah.
Lucid is still up at that 41.50 area. I'm not trying to re-enter that. What I want to re-enter is Virgin Galactic. I feel like that's what I would rather pick up on. But you know what just broke?
What's that?
AMC.
That's right, I'm in it, yep. And what
AMC just broke 20. It looked like AMC was bouncing. For all of the world, it looked like it was bouncing. I'm telling you, it really did. And then just snapped down and rejected 20.50. It breaks 20 even. I wish I was looking at a turn. I was not looking at a turn at 20.50. Look, it's on a breakdown trend. I got to make sure I scalp at least half of this out. So I always want to do that on a breakdown trade. But now AMC breaking and looks like it might flush here. That's the one continuing to go. So it's more about it's more about the momentum names than it is some of those. The valuation names kind of had their bounce.
Yeah, let's go, Gregory. You tell them, man. Let's get down to the downside right now on a lot of these names, man. Hopefully this will be working out for you guys, as the market is definitely flushing out right now. We have a nice trade there on AMC as well, Neil, with a good trade to the downside right now. I have no idea what Greg's trading, but he's really excited over
AMC.
there. AMC to the downside as it's just crack. Joey Crack. If you know who that is, then you're in good in my books. As we go to the downside right now, cracking down. We're short at 1994 right now on AMC.
Yeah, it's now down to 19.6. Look, I don't know where the bottom is going to be on it, obviously, because there weren't any key levels to work off of. So going to stair step quarters and then 50s, and that's going to be the name of the game here as it continues to flush to the downside. I will check in on two things for you. One, GameStop did break. It's down 5, but not nearly as much, $5 from its top. And then the other one, apologies, we never got to. There's so much to look at today that not one look at what had been a big mover, and that's, come on, load up. DWAC, that went the other way. It broke to the upside, but 68, remember that key level? It's looking to try to take back down to 68. If that holds, maybe it's going to be a strong one today. And I meant to look at BBIG, but hey, there's just way too much happening. Wow, AMC 20. That was a really big reversal on AMC. I didn't see anything else that turned around quite as violently as AMC there.
No, I'm going to take another piece out here at 75 if we can. Our best bid, though, was 66 or so on that out. And we did say, guys, watch out for a smooth reversal on this. And that seems to be, I don't know if that's what's happening right now on AMC, but, there is always going to be that potential for a move back into 20 one more time. So watch out for a possible reload on that one. If that's something that you were looking at to begin with, you may want to look at that again here as it's coming back up to 20 bucks. You could have some reload opportunities at 20.50, but right now it is starting to go back up to the upside right now. But that's just the name we're looking at. And then we are into Rivian, and we got to take a look at that as that's back up to 81 right now. It resists that 78, but that's the short that we wanted. I'm hearing something in the chat in our ears, but let's go over to Brendan quickly.
Was it?
Yeah, we're figuring out our intercom, guys. Mosaic, 4.8% here. There are a few things trying to show some strength here. MOS, CLF, FCX, all having a nice day so far, up 4.5% on decent volume for Mosaic.
Yeah, so much for getting any dips. I'm going to cancel my dip buy on, obviously if I got to the dip buy in Las Vegas, since I probably wouldn't want it. Let's be honest about it. Like, it's gone so far to the upside. Vinco Ventures did hold that 330 level, so obviously a few other things were happening in this moment, right? So AMC, by the way, is right back to almost even at that $20 mark, so you do have to watch out for that one. But Vinco holds a 330. That was the key price level. Looks like it's going to try to be bullish there again. I'll see if I can't get a long. I was going to look for a short if we could have broken that, but hey, Vinco continues to hold up. AMC now back above that 20. If it's a fail break above, I'd add more. If it holds a bid, might be time to get the last of these shares out. But Vinco back on the radar, baby.
Oh, it's always about that
okay,
Vinco Ventures, guys.
It's already there.
Yeah, it's always, no, but I mean, good call on Vinco Ventures there, as that's starting to rip as well. But lots of names on watch here. We are into Rivian, remember, and that's just starting to rip up to the high side right now. So Rivian's definitely not going to work out for us here anyways today. But we'll wait. Position pending here on Rivian. Let's see how far this one wants to go to the upside. We did mark down that we wanted to short this thing near 84. So wow, I mean, normally I'm long everything, and today I'm short everything. So this might not work out for us, but let's watch out for Rivian here as the NASDAQ getting extended. Remember, we said the NASDAQ could pump today, and there it is, man. We were down 1%. Now you're flat and positive 0.13 right now. So yeah, man, beating to its own going up, beating to its own, what does that go? Marching to a beat of its own drum. Today is NASDAQ and Microsoft. Wow, 300, man. That was a monster level. Let's see if that comes back into play as well. As, I don't know, does the NASDAQ maybe fade out right here? We talked about a crowded trade, the short, and right now they're getting blown out.
Exactly, and look, this is why I grab some profit. Like, I just got some Peloton out of 31.40 and was able to reload in front of that 32 level once again. This time, sort of picking it up a little bit closer to 32. But even this, getting removed from the index with a downward-looking chart like that, even that's getting a stair step to the upside. So I'm going to go back to the plan of just making sure that I'm taking profit. I'm not even waiting for VWAP, by the way. Like, I just want to make sure I'm grabbing profit anywhere that we can here, because this is the one that's working. Like that REVB, that's working, but I never even got a full position on it because it couldn't pop. And then I'll go back to the well, and about the most comfortable place I am going back to the well in the short is right now it's Virgin Galactic. It failed. It failed at the open, but I mean by failed, the short failed at the open, breaking $10. But then it snapped back down, retested just above 10, couldn't really hold above this 10.05. So I can go again with a tight stop short. And I like putting these names in different buckets, and I feel like that's the bucket where it's safe to maintain that short position. One other, just a related note, Virgin Orbit's launch was successful. Down anyway, sell the news. That's what happened yesterday. That's what's happening here today as well.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those.
DeFi name, DOCN, popping back up here through 61, I guess it was, on big time volume, still down big time as well. But DOCN, which is Digital Ocean Holdings, back to the upside.
Okay, we reloaded on WFC as well. We're also watching that Rivian trade, so let's see how far or where that one goes from now, Rivian, but that's another reload position for us right there. And again, like just kind of struggling with, sorry, that's WFC we reloaded. Where's my 1 minute chart? Just back up to the upside. So we haven't really done too much here today other than watching some of these names. So, let's just wait to see. Hopefully we're going to be right on the WFC reload. We have the 58 out in case we are wrong on that one, so that could be something to look at. And then Rivian, no more shorting until we get upside now, because it's already ripping. We do have a chance here at 85, so I'm going to look at 84 maybe to start to dig into. We are short at 80.50, so we're out $1 on Rivian right now. But again, it's not like a huge worry for me, but it is a name that we have to watch out for here. Rivian, we are short this name right now, as again, I've gotten blown out going short on this name all the way up to the upside. So let's try to make sure that we don't have that happen again. If it tests 82, like I said, we'll get out. I said if it broke 78, we'd get out at 80, and it didn't, so we shorted that. And then at this pop up, we short again. But I'm going to take some risk off if we do break above 82. It's just that's going to be too much for me right now, and would rather short it if it gets up to 84. So just a little bit of risk management, hopefully going to pay off here on this name.
And I didn't think it would be this name today, I'm not going to lie to you, but Tesla got to the 1040 level. So when things are going absolutely crazy and extending really far, I went back and I was like, maybe it is going to give that level at 1040. And again, I did say, make sure if you're trading Tesla, I said, forget about 1,000. Think about 980. I said, forget about 1025. Think about 1040. And then, you know what? The way this market's going, I'm not even thinking about hitting a home run in this trade. I was actually thinking about it, and then it lasted less than half a second. When I saw that it was going to come right back to 1025, it took the short off 37 and change. Going to grab some out there in the first $5 and say, forget about it. I'm just getting the rest out here at 30 because the snapback, I'm not even though part of me all morning I was like, don't get trapped in a snapback, right? I still managed to find myself in 5 shorts, managed to risk management ended up being pretty solid this morning, but at the same time, I didn't find any reversals long despite looking out for them. So anytime that happens to me, I'm not going to dig into the shorts. I'm not going to make too big of a mistake about being stubborn about it. So I got this one at the price I wanted, so we're pretty happy about it. But I'll tell you that AMC, by the way, yeah, no, I didn't get a reload on AMC, but it did reject 20 once again. If this takes out it's taking out the bottom, 150 goes, I might actually punch short again at 150, and sorry, 1950. And someone had asked why we didn't want it to be SSR, why I did not want it to have a short sell restriction on it at the close, didn't want it to reach 10%. It's so that you could hit the bid short if you wanted to short something. I like being able to go both directions, but you need an uptick if it's SSR. It's not SSR today. So as a trader, for flexibility's purposes, you never really want it to be SSR because that limits your opportunities to take positions. If you're holding along, you can always cover it. But as always, at some point, buyers, I think, could come into this the way the market is going. So I would scalp any breakouts and breakdowns. I think I'm definitely scalping them here, but 1950 just held on AMC.
Yeah, and right now I guess I can get rid of my 55. But yes, sir. Bang! Let's go, man. We're just focusing. Like, I got this hyper focus now on some of these names that I have, and it's really, really paying off, guys. Like, just focusing on one name. We talked about doing that yesterday. Watching, making sure that you're in the right plays at the right time. Like WFC right there. We reloaded that one. I know I'm in trouble here on Rivian. We've already talked about that. Maybe should have got some out there. Went actually back down to basically flat for us there on Rivian. Should have put some bids. Mistake right there for that one. But there it goes. Let's see if it comes back down. We are into Rivian at 80.40. So we're basically flat on this name, but it's really the WFC trade that I've been cashing in on all day here. Another reload up there at the same level that we wanted. So that's a good one. And then there it is again, man. Feeling pretty good. Taking the money off the table here on AMC. I'm nervous about a reload. So now that we're out of 20, 40, 60, 80%, we have a decent spot left now on AMC. So let's see if we could just sort of hold this and see where we go now. So AMC, a good short for me. WFC, a monster short for me. And Rivian, again, if it comes back down to that, where we can get out for near flat, I think we should probably do that, as it looks like this wants to be and stay strong here today. Of course, that is Rivian. Looks like it wants to be strong. So here it comes back in. Let's take a little bid. Let's take something on the bid here, just to ease some pressure back in the 70s, because honestly, man, that 82 could easily break, especially if the NASDAQ wants to keep on going. So we're going to watch out for that one. Go WFC, still making lows here. Hopefully we can crack through 56.50, and then I think we retest 56. But I don't know, Neil, have you been looking at the other banks? Because JP Morgan, holy shit.
I mean, I'm looking, I saw it break 100. And you know what? Guy asked a question. He said, explain how the uptick works on SSR. I absolutely I promise you this. We will explain how it works when things calm down a bit. Keep asking the question. If I forget, then that's on me, but we're going to get that one for you. Just keep pounding, or even tweet at one of us. But we'll answer that question. I just wanted to quickly talk Affirm, because this is now popped to 75 even, and this is the channel. I mean, I didn't think we'd get here, but now that we're here, looking 75 to 76 and a half. If that level can hold, this is an area I'd feel a little more comfortable jumping back into the short. Brendo.
JP Morgan, guys, speaking of, Jamie Dimon on the call just saying this. Could be 6 or 7 rate hikes this year again from Jamie Dimon, guys.
I think Dimon? That could fall into the bucket.
He's one of my favorite CEOs, but I'm not really feeling that call, Mr. Dimon. That's for sure. Okay, so we'll see. How many?
Then
maybe one of them is like maybe one of them is a half point. Maybe one's going to be a half.
Look, I wonder if he means 6 or 7 times or like 6 times a quarter, because like one of the rate hikes could be half a point. And if they're half a point, that's going to send the market like in a tizzy, man. If everybody thinks that the market, the Fed is just going to raise a quarter of a point, that could be a mistake, man. They could come out and raise half a point. If they do that in one day, I think the market's going to absolutely get destroyed on that news. No, I don't think people are expecting that kind of a rate hike.
Well, obviously, Jamie Dimon doesn't think that inflation is going to abate on its own, right? Like, he doesn't think that energy prices are going to come back. He doesn't think that when production gets better for auto vehicles, that used auto sales are going to come back down a little bit. I don't care what camp you're in. Usually the middle is a little bit better. There will be some nature of relief when it comes to some of the inflationary pressures. There's no question about it, because we know about the supply buildup and sort of what basically is to be an overreaction in the other way. And I think that can help out a little bit. But whether or not, I mean, 7 just seems a little bit crazy to me. That would be moving pretty fast. I got to show you the NASDAQ here because we're right back to this 15.5 level. And then I looked over at a firm, which is in the curl range. If I out at 76.50, it's hard to want to short it already at 75. But with a key level here on the futures, it's not a bad place to try to jump in. And given what the opportunity might be if there was a turn, I might just have to jump into this one. By the way, AMC maintaining its bounce off 1950. I'm moving my stop. I'm now going to get out at 2015. So the last of my shares, I'm just going to hold AMC. If it breaks 2015, I'm definitely going to be out of this one and give up on the short. And as I just did that, and then you can see I just missed the turn on the firm, it looks like.
Yeah, the market's starting to fall back down a little bit right here. So let's see if we can't, like I said, relieve some pressure on this Rivian trade back to the downside. As WFC still can't crack this 56.60. So I'll probably put another bid here, although I really want this thing to fall down. We'll put one more bid here at 60 and change and see if we can't get that to go back. Well, I mean, we're not going to try to get it to do anything, but we'll see if it can go to the downside. This is why, guys, we exit out of AMC. And again, we talk about pigs getting slaughtered for me anyways. And I'm going to just get out of that one and say, wow, AMC, what a good move to the downside and hold only that 20%. We are trying to reload this if it does get back up here. But again, like not trying to dance with this devil at these levels. So we're going to wait for that one. Another name that we liked on any kind of a dip would have been NEO. But as you could see, we are 100% right on the thought, but we did not think about taking a pre-market high, which we generally do. So again, some of the things that I've changed is to be more patient, wait for more levels to come through, things like that. And I've kind of taken away the pre-market breaks. But on market days like this, when the NASDAQ is just like, screw that, we're rebounding, you know, you're always going to feel bad that you don't take some of those breaks. I mean, it's just like, why was I waiting for Softy down here at 300 again when I could have just smashed this 304 to the upside, right? So there's always going to be situations like that. And here comes Rivian right back in. So we take a little piece off. So we are going to be negative. Okay, on that trade, we lost 20 cents. So now let's see if it can come back down into the bid here. We're bidding around 80 flat, right where VWAP is. If, well, a little bit lower than that, VWAP's at 80.30. If we can break that below, then we're hoping, well, not hoping, you know, I'm going to cancel that break through 78 right now. You got to make sure you have your orders set properly. We're going to hopefully that this break will happen back down to the downside. And I know you were looking at Lucid, Neil, but I haven't heard you talk too much about it. It's still at that level, right? 41.50. So maybe this is another name to look to crack lower than this. But Lucid right now going to there. And we did get a super chat that I think I saw, but I missed. And Miss V's got our back. What's up, Valeria?
Yes, Sean, you're gonna like this one. Jaeger Bomb sent us a super chat. Yes, baby. Hoodie Sean is always a good omen for my account. The market can dumpster itself all at once. We make money on red and green days. Just flip your charts. Thank you so much, Jaeger Bomb. You're so right, guys. I hope doesn't matter if it's negative or positive day, you are profitable on the day. Back to you, Sean.
All right, we'll take that. We'll do a little dancing here. Good thing I'm wearing the hoodie and not this. And thank you so much for the love and the support. And of course, you can go to our YouTube page and find, maybe Ms. V can just throw it in there quickly. She'll throw in, like that, she'll throw in the link to our YouTube merch. It's a little bit hard to find on YouTube, so yeah, let's do that. And we've debated like doing a bigger merchandise offering, but it's just it's a lot of work, man. We're going to stay in our lane. Our core competency is giving you guys the fire, and hopefully we've done that here today.
So yeah, you know, I'll talk about Lucid. I got in and out pretty quickly. I said it would be a pretty tight stop because the nature of how I got the fill was not what I was expecting, obviously. I think that goes without saying. Pumped up pretty hard. It got to that 42 and reversed. I probably could have given it to that level. I chose not to. I look at it, you look at it here and it's like, yeah, that's really, really tight. But the way that this is now snapped back and we've held support at 41, you consolidate here and you have yourself a midst of a bit of a breakout. So I'm not going to be running into that one just yet. Binko Ventures, by the way, just now this one I'll be a little bit more upset about because it holds at 330 and I didn't get the 350 retake on the break. It never consolidated. It then broke 360 and continues to run. So this one might have been a big missed opportunity here. But Virgin Galactic now back below 10. I'm going to keep taking my shots at Virgin Galactic. That's the one that I get in, get out. I worked in the pre-market. I did not get any out the last time it broke 10, but another failure here. And I think this one could roll over. Definitely a weaker name than the rest. Brendan again?
A little one high flyer here so far. Splash Beverage Group Incorporated, which is SBEV on the NYSE exchange. Just broke $3 there. Huge volume. That's already halted once, guys, for SBEV.
All right. One name that we looked at that we're saying, like, maybe we're buying this down at 89 is going to be Win. We did put it here on our sticky note, and you can follow right now as well. And I just cracked 4,000 right here also on Instagram. So Instagram, we just hit the 4,000 follower mark, all organic. Some people buy their followers. Nepa, it's all you guys on here. So thank you for the love on that one as well. There you go. Yeah, thanks, Edison. It is amazing how we've grown. Well done. Way to go. Thank you, FC Melia there as well. But you could see right now on the sticky note, and I'll put this in as well, that we liked Win back near, and we said probably a little bit too far, too fast. Oh, no, there, that's the casinos right here. Too much. 10% is too much. We said that. So right now you're seeing Win only up 7% right now. And then we looked for a long near 89. So let's see if that can come through. We'll put this in the chat there. So if you like this one, please retweet it. We're doing a lot of work there. I'm long on Instagram. Yeah, what's up, Henry? Hopefully you are as well. I'm long on Facebook. Obviously Meta Instagram as well. But there we go. Let's go, Rivian. Crank, crank, crank. This is what we're doing today. We're in 3 trades, all 3 profitable trades for you guys here today, including a monster with AMC, monster with WFC, and then Rivian right now. Grr, let's see if we can get a monster going on that one as Brendan, the GOAT, spitting money out. Let's see if we can do the same thing to the downside one more time. Let's bid 79 now. And that way, if it comes back in, we take the 79, Phil, and then we can figure out what happens at 78. So right now, we have the Rivian short. We like you a lot. 75 cents in the money. Now, we had to hold out for it. But hey, new Sean has changed his game.
Yeah, and going back to the small caps, I know there's some of them moving. That it's Revelation Biosciences. That's the name of the company, Neil. Just broke it. Well, it broke 860, but it just broke this 850 consolidation. I'm bidding now down around 750. That's where it closed yesterday. $8 has a bit of a key level as well, but certainly falling off a bit of a cliff there is Revelation. And then I don't want to get away from 2 names that have been hot fire. By the way, AMC getting close to that floor at 1950 again. DWAC now holding the high end of the range up at $70. I don't even think I paid for shorts on DWAC today. But if you look at the higher low that got to lower high that got put in yesterday, that's right here at 70.50. Pretty big level coming in. I'm not touching it till 75 and 77. I think we talked about that yesterday in terms of shorting it. And then BBIG, Vinco Ventures, that's the other one. It's now screaming towards its high. Now, I missed out on the long. We liked it if it held 330. I didn't get it, but it's that $3.80 to $4 range on the daily chart that I think is going to stick out. So that's possibly getting back into that range where rejected. Were this to make a double top, it tends to retake highs and then run. Were it to make a double top and fail up here, it hasn't really, it hasn't had that kind of a moment for a pullback, so keep that in mind. If that were to happen, it does become a pretty shortable stock. I'm willing to go both directions here today for sure on that one.
All right. Yeah, bought some more Microsoft CRM here today. Let's see what happens now with a stock like a DraftKings, which is way down. Okay, so right now, Rivian just bouncing back upside right now. So good out there. We still have a small piece. We don't mind reloading this back up here near that 82 high. We've talked about 82 before. So I think we will try one more reload because we're out of those positions right there on Rivian. So if we can get something around, I'm just going to put it right here, 81. So I'm going to say 60, but it's going to be a little lower than that. So let's see if that can fill because I'm tired of sitting there missing trades by like a couple pennies. So we'll see if we get a little aggressive on that. And then, like I said, Alibaba up that 1%. Oh, wow. Win just bounced there. So, we had that right at 89, man. We pegged that almost perfectly. It goes down to 89.50. We should have sat there. I think we can try that now if Win does come back in here. But I'm just a little bit nervous because the NASDAQ's bouncing up and Win's not really catching a bid. So to me, that's a little bit concerning as I see NVIDIA up 2%, which is nice. Your Vinco Ventures, 358 right now. BBIG, I heard Neil talk a little bit about that one here as that's starting to get excited again. We hit that long yesterday pretty darn good as well. What just happened? I think I just got into something or out of something. Oh, WFC just came back down. Okay, was not expecting that. We put a bid at 57 because it was ripping higher. So now that it's coming back in, let's pull this 50 56.70? Nah, we'll take that. If it comes back down here to 56.70, we'll still take that, and then hopefully have something left on board if we do crank lower. You know what? Cancel that. Let's wait to see if it goes even lower than that right now. We were trying to reload back up here. Never happened. Another out there for WFC. Putting some bids down here now, 56.50. Scratch that 70 level. I still can't believe the destruction that's happening in JP Morgan. We talked about that. Sell the XLF yesterday. If you did that, you're pretty happy. But right now, Rivian coming back to the upside, and then AMC, man, we held that all the way back down. And I don't know if this is a reload spot or not, but AMC dancing pretty good here. Only 12 million shares. Thought it would be higher, to be honest.
If AMC consolidates right here, makes another run at 2015. Last time I checked back, I said I'm tightening my stop to that 15 level. I'm now reversing to a long at 15. Forget about it. Like it's held 1950 twice. There we go. I actually just got 17s long. Maybe I'll take more. I might take if I can get some more on the bid. There we go. So again, it put in the higher low. It held the last consolidation right at that 20 level. 1950 has held a couple of times. The reversal that's happening in the market, like I said, you don't want to get trapped in at the bottom. Now, some of these have managed, and I'm going to quickly go to Virgin Galactic, to look relatively weak. To me, this has tried to break several times above 10. The last time broke out when I stopped out. It then snapped back and has held a lower high. So I'm actually shorting it a little bit more aggressively. You got to pick and choose your spots, right? So I'm reverse long in AMC. If it wants to go, fair enough. I think the risk to reward is fantastic there. But you didn't want to necessarily get trapped. DWAC, by the way, just reversed. So I was looking for 75. I was looking for 75 and 77 to the upside. It's now starting to pull back. 68 would be the key level. Whoops, it's down here. 68 would be the key level in terms of managing to hold a bid. I know VWAP is up here at 69, but pull back your chart. That's been pretty key from time to time. That reverb is looking pretty good to the downside. And Peloton, basically flat for me. I've been scalping out of Peloton a couple times here and there. Remember, they're coming out of the NASDAQ. Already 10 o'clock. Brendan at the big screen. What's happening now?
Hey guys, yeah, getting better by the moment here as we move back to the upside, all because of this right here. The NASDAQ nicely positive already, 0.6, 0.47 there for the 100 and the composite. So that is the story of the day. The S&P, as we speak here, trying to go positive as well on the session. Good to see. The Dow still 0.4 to the downside. Russell, small cap, pretty weak right across the board. Here in Toronto, already green as well, 0.12 for the TSX. Back in positive territory. A few things we were talking about in the pre-market. Big tech led the way down, if you remember, yesterday afternoon, but Apple trying to lead the way back to positive territory here, as we saw for the overall market here. Volume coming in at the high as well. The banks, yeah, pretty messy start to the day here. I was watching Citigroup trying to hold some of these levels that were the initial move down in the pre-market there after the report, but coming back in a little bit here, still 2.5% for Citigroup, guys.
Okay, so we reloaded here. We got reloaded. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see to the downside right now. If we could take this out right at VWAP, we'll do that 90s here. Ugh, just bounced off VWAP there on AMC. So we reloaded it there at 12 or whatever that price is there. And now we have an average price of 04. So we'll see if that wants to come back down here. I just put it there at VWAP. Honestly, I was at 91. It actually went to 92 there. So hopefully it'll come back down and fill us up there. I'm, obviously going to be nervous about this if we break above 50 here, so that's going to be my out, 2050 or so. I mean, you can even use this level, 2060. Maybe I'll change that there on AMC. And then a new position alert. Yeah. A name that a lot of you probably are interested in, and that's going to be SoFi. So come on, AMC, just fill me down here at 91. There it is. Yes, sir. The reload. Hello. That was a good trade down there on that reload. So we'll see if that continues to work now on the downside. And what the heck? Yes, sir. Bang right there as we go crazy with another one on WFC. Wow, what a great trade that's been today. Booming. Yes, sir. Keep going to the downside. I'll have another WFC, but wow, down to the downside right there. Great trade. $1 in the money on that name, and then a good trade on the reload as well with AMC. So, man, we're cooking with fire here today. SoFi, though, if it breaks through 13, we're gone. We thought this had a chance here at VWAP, so we take it. It doesn't look like it, man. They're killing these stocks one more time. So, hey, I'm pretty happy because right now we're short WFC and we're short Rivian, and we just took one-time shot here on SoFi. It looks like we may lose that 10 pennies here as it's testing 13 one more time.
Yeah, now that it's 10 o'clock, I'm getting a little bit out of scalp mode on some of these. I'm looking at the chart here, and I just say to myself, it's simple for me on AMC. Right now, it has the look of a failed break at a bottom of 20 even, and I just want to have something where it's put the risk into 1950 and then have the reward be up to 21 and a potential break of this level. Because if this ends up being a rebound, it can go to 21.5, 22 in a single snapback. So I want to put it in one direction or the other. I think you can scalp breaks the other way. Like if 50 goes, scalp it to 25s and 19 evens. Otherwise, I'm going to dig into that. I'm short basically everything else. I just wanted something which could be a breakout. It's not, and I'm not saying it's a hedge because I don't think that's remotely a hedge position. I just happen to like holding Virgin Galactic. It's the one that I like picking on, and it's starting to roll over. I'm not even getting this out until it breaks back down towards the absolute lows. Time to start holding on to some things. The market's starting to come back in here, and as it does, a couple of names that I was looking at, well, I think we were both looking at actually. You were looking at Win, LVS. Look at how strong these are, up 14%. There just hasn't been a dip. Like it dipped at the open, 41.50. Like that's still $4 up, well over 10%. There's not much of a give back here, so these ones are starting to run away just a little bit on us. But Nvidia, if you go to the chip space, this also, it's still above 269. It hasn't really held that 270. It's only up 1% on the session despite this. And going back, if you look at the previous level, this is pretty much like it right here. You had a big consolidation in this 66 to like 70 area. If it can find a bottom, maybe it's going to continue its run. I think DWAC is very, very disappointing at this point. They can't seem to get back to those highs. In Vinco, yeah, it's kind of barcoding Vinco Ventures. Like it got back up to like 375, not close enough to the 4 for a short, not close enough to that 330 for support. So I'm holding on to AMC for 1950s, that's my stop. And then the shorts all working. Peloton's come back to the downside, only 50 cents in the money. I think that could really run coming out of the NASDAQ. Virgin Galactic now starting to run down. And then I guess I've been in that short, REVB, that's a small cap, for quite some time now. It has shown no signs of bouncing, although it is consolidating here. So I do have to watch out for this. Like it's consolidating off 820. If it can't seem to break down pretty soon, I'm only shorting it in front of 925. In fact, I have an offer there that's been there since 931 and has yet to be filled.
All right, we're going to, we're just looking at AMC. We're trying to look at all the same names there. SoFi, bless you. SoFi does go back down through 13, so that's a quick out right there. So we will go downside there. That's bubble burst, not downside. But either way, man, the fintech bubble has burst a while ago. So we're going to have to wait to see what happens now with SoFi. Who knows, man? What a good out that was on WFC, basically the bottom again. And now we're like, as light as we've ever been on this name. We're out of everything now. We're holding a small piece, so I shouldn't say we're out of everything. We have less than 10% of what we had on initially on this trade. So when they came back, I couldn't believe we got hit. Like that was a, we talked about pulling these orders again at 57 and waiting for that bottom to come through on WFC. So right there, we're out of it, and we will reload it if it does come back up to the upside. AMC's been a great trade for us right now here today, and we reloaded it right at this position. I don't think so anymore, though. AMC seems like it wants to bounce off of this 20 a little bit too aggressive here, which is great. I mean, it's great for all you guys out there. I know there's a lot of traders that own obviously AMC shares, and needless to say, shouldn't have even to say that. But let's look at AMD here as it's starting to come back in just a little bit with that NASDAQ move. So, but the only thing about AMD is obviously we see it today that it's more aggressive than the market as you're up 1.6%, and there it is right down there to 134. We probably should have been paying more attention to that one. For me, it's more like a reload. Like we hit a good short yesterday in AMD, and I don't know. I was like, I almost want to get it in back here, man, like 132.70. On a dip, something like that in here for AMD. Like, so I'm going to leave this alone, but I do want to put some bids just to let you guys know, like back into this area. Like you see where we had some support yesterday, 132, 133. So I'm going to put a bid down here. I realize the NASDAQ has to crank lower to get that bid, but again, we're going to try to be a little more patient with some of the trades that we have on board there. I do see a note about Palantir quickly, so I'll look at that. I wrote down 1550 on my board here today, and that did tank right back into this area. So there is something here possibly for Palantir. I'll look at that a little more in depth, but right now, Brendan.
Another one, guys, on the resorts and entertainment side, getting a bit of a boost here off of that news as well. MLCO, which is Melco, just coming up to $11 even here. Decent volume on this move back to the upside if you like the little ones as well.
So, okay, CCL's
Yeah,
got
we were just talking about Disney. So let us know if anybody in the chat has any idea maybe why that name is down.
There was a lot to go over this morning, so I might have missed something on Disney, noticing it down 2.5% when CCL's down 1. I'm sure I could look at a few other names there, but either way, that's the kind of thing I always want to look out for: relative strength, relative weakness. Definitely noticing it there. There is this other name in the small cap, in our watch list, and that was GFAI. It's up 25%, but just now finally, maybe not finally, but getting into some levels here on the daily chart. This 140, pretty big level. The 50 period sort of hangs up there as well. So it's on the radar. It's now bounced off of this twice, forming a bit of a wedge pattern for a breakout. I'm actually looking, whenever the market's really strong like this, where you get a rebound in some of the quality names, I tend to prefer fading small caps in that kind of an environment. So I'm more looking for a failed breakout on GFAI at that 140, or just a chance to straight short it off of that 140 level. So this is on my radar. I just have to double check because I don't think I paid for shorts on this. I want to make sure. They might be free. We'll see.
Okay, so new position alert. We did get into that Palantir. I liked it on that breakthrough 90. We got 92s right now, so we're basically flat on this Palantir. And yeah, the same kind of thing is going to be true here. We break the bottom. We don't have to be in this name, so we will get out. But, you know, Palantirs, again, you guys know how I trade this. It's a good scalping stock for me, so we'll wait to see if it gets back to view up. We could take something out at 16. We'll probably do that just a little bit if it does go back up to the upside. We're out of a lot of our shorts, so for me, it's not really, you know, like too big of a deal here to see what happens if to take a long. So, you know, we've cashed out of Rivian already at the bottom side. We're holding a small piece of that. And if it takes out 82, then we'll you know, we're out of it. So, you know, that to me makes sense there on that trade for Rivian. And then other than that, man, it's just kind of like wait and see what's going to happen here with the market. WFC, we're fine. We're waiting for another reload if we get it to that as well. And then other than that, we're just looking around for some more names. XOM continues to be a huge winner as well, up to $72. That's going to be a 52-week high right now. Every tick higher right now is a brand new high for XOM. So we've been talking about the oil trade, and look at that, working like mad right now. Oil up 1%. Kill them with kindness, my friend.
Good day to buy Smile Direct Club, guys. Apparently, anyways, 20% here. Volume coming in as we speak for SDC on the run. There was a new partnership announced, but it doesn't seem terribly exciting. But yeah, one of those kind of days.
Get me those shorts.
Actually, I should check first if the pay for shorts are free on Smile Direct. By the way, AMC just cracked that 2050. First leg out for about 50 pennies there. I'll take some more out in front of 21, but I want to make sure I'm holding some AMC for above that 21 level. But I can't even get excited about that when you show me that chart of Smile Direct. Like that's insane. Like come on, load up. That's a reversal worth looking at here. Is obviously this is another beat up name, but I remember this thing when it was clustering at $3, and this 230 level right here, right now is a bit key. But there's an upward channel to about 270 on Smile Direct, so it's got a wide range. I think I would favor sort of playing 50s first, and then maybe 275. But that's a monster run. Can't ignore that at all. And like I said, I got to double check for those short locates. Virgin Galactic now flushing once again. It did always feel like that was one of the safest names, even with the market reverse, to stay short. Always a safe idea to go check in with Ms. V, though.
Hey Neil, we've got a super chat from Tariq GT. Thank you so much, Tariq, for your generosity. I hope you're having a great day. Is Doma a good buy at this price point, expected to dominate their competitors by faster title searches and faster mortgage closing process using AI? Can you guys take a look at DOMA?
Doma? Yeah, you know what? Okay. I'm gonna get that one in a quick second here. I have to doing like a million things at once.
It's just a short squeeze on that SPC,
for short,
man, but what are you gonna do?
It is a short squeeze, but I like short squeezes in terms of finding and being patient about finding a level there. I'm gonna get to Doma in a quick second, but I just have to like sort of process a few things as we're trading. I'm trying to take profit over on Virgin Galactic if it gets to 975, and then Smile Direct is approaching that 250 level very, very quickly. So I'm about to. I just got the paper shorts just now. I'm about to put on a short here. We will look at Doma, and I do apologize for not getting to it faster. But like the market obviously is starting to move a heck of a lot. I mean, DWAC's about to take out a double top at the high, and I can't even look at it. I just got some more shares out of AMC at 2075, so that's on the run. there is a lot going on right now, and I might have just missed a potential turn on Smile Direct. 43s is the current top. I'm going to get an offer at 45, 46. If it gives me 250s, that's the level I was looking for. Damn it.
I just feel like there's a lot of people going to say the same thing about that Smile Direct, so it might be a crowded trade, but definitely watch out for that. Palantir does go up, and we take that out right there at VWAP, so let's see what happens. But yeah, Smile Direct right now starting to crank higher and higher and higher, up to 240 right here on SDC. So yeah, thanks for that, Brendan. Doing 5 million, it's not even really that many shares, but still a nice little move back up to the upside, taking out highs right now as it continues to go, man. The short interest on that one obviously blown out. So, oops, the chart's not even loading there. We're going to watch out for this one. There it goes up through 250 right now. So bye-bye. See you later, alligator, as that's going to the upside. But look, there is a big buyer there, but he's going to get hit. So watch out for Smile Direct here. Still going to the north side. But wow, what an aggressive name. 30% today on SDC.
Yeah, and like that's the crazy thing. Like that's why, and we're never trying to ignore super chats, but like I knew I was about to get short in front of that 50 level. And it's like in and out pretty quickly, so now I can kind of calm down. And I'll go back to it. About 275 was the other level on the daily chart. But with regards to Dome, I was a little bit surprised. What was it the other day when we had, it was KB Homes had the earnings that were pretty good, and it was a little bit of a disappointing. I felt like a disappointing run in some of the related names, and you're getting, and I guess Indoma, which I believe is related, is getting a bit of a pullback as well. I really don't like what I'm seeing in the chart, and I was confused by the reaction to some names in the space yesterday, so I'll probably continue with that confusion and say I'm not loving the fact that something like this will be breaking down right now. And maybe it's got some support lower that I could find, but it's already broken key support levels, and because of what happened with KB, I'll stick with it if I don't understand it. That tends to be weak, and be patient about it. Give it a day or two for those to settle down. One other name that I got to get back to very, very quickly. It was AMC I want to talk about. That was the one that we missed out on, sort of covering for you guys. Here's the 15-minute chart on AMC. So once it broke, look, it broke 20. It gave you the look to 1950. So obviously those, if it's an even break, the quarters in the 50s are going to start to matter, right? So it held that 50 level. I'm going to zoom in on the 15-minute and hopefully keep the perspective, right? Once it held a nice consolidation at 2015, I just said, I'm going to get long at 2015, reversal if it breaks it. My stop is at 50s, but then I'm not covering until it gets back into this cluster here. Whoops, I canceled this offer. It gets back into this cluster here. And once it gets in there, it has to then break 21 for me to want to take any more out, because there's room. There's room all the way to 2150. So it's a reversal. For whatever reason, this one, I guarantee you there's something else that probably had this exact same setup that I could have reversed into a long, and maybe it was better. I just happened to see it on AMC because that's the chart I was looking at. And I think one of the things and why you miss out on so many opportunities is looking at too many names. So I did a bad job of whittling it down this morning. Like I got in and out of Lucid, like quick in and out in 2 seconds, and a similar thing happened on Affirm. And I feel like if I had just maybe got it down to like 4 or 5 instead of trying to be in like right now it's like 6 or 7 this morning, and that was probably too many. So might have missed some shots. Hopefully we didn't on AMC here, and if it takes out 21, we're golden on that reversal trade. That Peloton, by the way, still hanging on to the last of that. At this point, I'm trying to reload in front of 32 if I can. Otherwise, I'm looking for it to break this 31. I'm going to zoom out just to put everything into perspective. Peloton is holding the bottom end of the channel, right? Like it's got huge range up top, and it's still breaking some fresh lows. This is what your daily chart looks like in the trend. So if it breaks and wants to flush further, it's got tons of room down to $30, and that's what I'm now holding out for. So that's continuing to flush. Virgin Galactic just wrapping back into this position. I actually have not taken anything out yet. I was on the bid at 77. You can see what happened here. It's back to VWAP, but now it looks like it's back in a downward trend. But I shorted pre-market, one, stopped out, shorted again, stopped out, shorted again. This is the third time I'm short Virgin Galactic here. Still up on the name overall, but it has not really truly broken the range. Like you still have 10 at the top. You've still got the pre-market lows embedded, so if the trend is going to continue and it breaks the low, this could still flush. So that's very valid, I think, the thesis there, and I would love, at some point I want to check back in on that IPO from yesterday, but there's just so much happening, it's hard to do.
Yep, and right now, so Rivian, I mean, again, just trying to play off some of these levels here. Barcoding, look at Lucid right now. I mean, I don't know what's happening to any of these stocks. Lucid right now, barcoding, I don't even remember the last time we saw something like this in the first half hour of trading for Lucid. Obviously, it starts off with a bang and rips up, but right now it's just hanging out saying like nothing right now. So you may want to take this off a 42 break, and then you do have an out at 41.50. So for me, for Lucid, if you like it, it's barcoding, but it's barcoding to the upside right now. So, you know, you take out some of these wicks. I don't think you need to worry about the wicks. You can just go long at 42 and then worry about it back down here at 41.50 if that's something you like. But right now, though, I'm going to celebrate with another out, hopefully on 16.05 here, because Palantir has just been a nice trade for me. It was my biggest position, you know, just by capitalization here today. So we put that on and trying to hold it, man. We take it out at 16, then we take some out at 05 right there. And I don't mind doing that again if we continue to go to the upside. There we go. I'm offering 05. It has to sort of get through here in order for it to fill me. So we'll see if there it is. So there it is. So it goes through again on Palantir. So there it is. A nice little move to the upside. We are going to wait for 10s as well. And then WFC, hey, if you break 52, we're gone. So, or sorry, 58, we're gone. We've been shorting this name. I saw Gold Sam there. You asked me, why are we shorting it? I mean, it's a cash money trade for me today. It's been one of my best, but we did reload there and we reloaded up here and we did hold, you know, I told you that 10%. So now we have a little bit of a position back on here, but again, like most of these trades, we were short 57.40 despite that first trade. Most of them 57.40s and then out here 57s. So we took about a 40-cent win and more than that. That was the minimum. More than that, almost $1 down there, 60 cents there. So if this does take this out, we will give some back here, about 40 to 50 cents back on WFC. So hey, we tried the short. Obviously, something's happening here where the banks are reversing. Really not JP Morgan, but definitely WFC reversing back up now. So if we get cranked out of that, we get out of that one. But there goes Palantir. We need to get some more out here. This is going to be a good trade for me back up to the upside. Ooh, we didn't get those 13s there. So let's just, okay, we'll take some 12s then maybe. Hopefully we do. There it is. So we take some 12s as it rips through there. And then hopefully we'll take some 13s as WFC. Upside, same as Palantir, but hey, we are way more invested here in Palantir, so hopefully that can continue to go. And then Rivian's right now near a spot that we need to get out of because I'm not averaging into this, so we'll see what's going to happen. But 81.60, if that prints, we'll take an average in, and then out at 82. So again, capturing a lot of profit here on Rivian. Hopefully it holds that 82. If not, we're going to get out and then relook at this thing near 84.
And I have no idea how I have not hit this key yet. She's back. Let's do it. Why not? And as a matter of fact, I have the shaved head look in that one. Might do it over the weekend because my daughter's been bugging me to go back to the cue ball look, so I might have to appease her by doing it once. I'm out of REVB. It got down to like 78. Barcoding at 770, off 775. It closed at 50. I think that's good enough. We'll take that. AMC just broke. Well, okay, fine. It just broke 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's right. Okay, it's right back. It actually, if it's a failed break, I still don't even want to get out of the long, even if it's a failed break. I'd rather see it come back and retest 20 even, maybe even for a reload. But I do have an offer above here, trying to get some out like 20, 30s in front of that 21.50 area. So look, we talked about the reversal, potential over reversal. Managed to navigate a few things. One, only getting Tesla exactly where we liked it at 1040 for the short. Managing to have tight stops on all the ones that I thought could be dangerous, so it would limit some of the losses when we did short into the market. And then found a reversal play, and it happened to be an AMC just above that same 20 mark. So I think it can still go. There's so much runway for a lot of these names that are beaten up. And with that, let's go to the small cap recap. Brendan's at the big screen in the nice looking cardigan.
Hey guys, yeah, not a lot to do when it comes to these high-flying small cap or micro cap type stocks this morning. We mentioned this REVB as well just before the open there. Top end of the range ends up holding pretty, I mean, it doesn't really get any easier than this. 930, 950 I was looking at, and then 10 and 1050 above that. None of those come into play. Wanted to do a better job of holding a larger piece of the trade for the bigger move. Did that today, so a nice look for REVB, like that one, BBIG. It's been so strong on the way up here. Everyone knows about the short float, so wanted to be patient on the way up here. 360 was support late in the day. 380 above that was resistance. So I was going to work into this all the way up to 380 and then see what happens if we can break the low and get a bigger move to the downside as well. That's really all I did. I mean, AMC was a choppy start, ends up going higher as we all saw, but nothing really else to do, guys, on the small cap front today. Back over to you.
We missed the reload on Rivian we were at 81.60, so we missed that by 10 cents, and then it drops $1. So that was a missed opportunity, but we still have the short, so we're still on that one. We did get blown out of WFC. We talked about that one. I'm going to try to short one more time in the mid of this range, like 58.10-ish, and then use that 58.20 as the top. Let's just see if that wants to work. But as you can see, with the NASDAQ coming back down a little bit here, it is accelerating some of these moves. I'm happy to see Meta, Facebook. Oh man, here it comes. We still have a piece of this one. So WFC is still a very profitable name for us today. Let's see if it comes back to the downside now, though. Shoot, man, I saw that get capped out there at 58.20. Tried to go short again and missed it. So maybe we'll get it on the way back up. And then if we do, we already have a targeted out of 58.20 or so. So if it does take it there, take the short on Lucid. Okay, I'll look at that, Omar. LCID, quick time here. Yeah, wow. Okay, so it did break that 42 level that we were talking about and goes to 42.35. So I'm already short Rivian, which is fine. That's now 50 cents in the money and starting to crank lower. So we like that trade here on Rivian. I'm really peed off that I didn't get the reload right there on that name, but we tried it, missed it. That's that. Palantir, 16 cents up. We got out on the way down. We got out on the way up. So there goes WFC. So there it is. We do now have that reload right there. So let's see if we can get that. We just got hit there at 9s or 10s? 9s. So let's see now what we can do on that one as it reloaded back up there. We're going to use 58.20 as our out. So if that breaks, we're gone on this trade. But we did just get the reload there. So here we go. WFC doing a lot of volume up here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a solid day today, a good day, but there had been some misses, and I talked about the opportunity cost of doing a lot of things at once. I mean, Smile Direct does the turn at 250. I just wasn't on it to get the reload. This is as clean a fail break, and I'm showing the 15-minute chart first so that you can kind of see when it's gotten here before, it's wicked up, and this was a good failure point for it previously. I just never got back in. There was a consolidation in the 40 range. I could have chased it down a little bit and gotten the trade, did not. But I want to come back over to, if I can, PTOM, which is the name that's coming out of the index. I was trying to reload. I'm going to adjust the approach here because if I'm not going to catch this curl, I might try to catch a little bit of a lower curl at VWAP if it tries to take out the bottom. At this point, I'm really trying to hold this to either the low of the day or even breaking the low down at $30. I think the trend can be good for it. Coming back over to the chip names. By the way, that TPG, I was gonna check in on the IPO from yesterday. It's really not looking very exciting, so I think it's safe to say we'll be sitting that one out today. Nvidia, this never really dipped. Nvidia's still up 1.5%, but you are starting to see a consolidation off of the top here on Nvidia, and there's some signs that the market is turning around here. We're back below the overnight high on the NASDAQ. So if we do hold below that level, I think some of these could retest VWAP. Not out of the waters yet for this turnaround day, although I'm seeing similar charts all over the place. Even DWAC has the same thing. It's gotten back to the top. Now it's just very choppy. So I'm in patience mode. Virgin Galactic's in the money in the short. I think, right now Peloton short looks pretty okay. AMC reversal looks pretty good to the long side. I'm not going to force my way into something else. I need to see it set up before we jump into anything. We thought there'd be a shakeout in the morning. I feel like that sort of happened. And now if you're sitting something that's in the money, you can kind of massage that position and be patient looking for new things.
Yeah, WFC, we took a little bit out there at 58, but we noticed that it resisted 58 pretty hard there. So we had a bid at 96, never got filled. So we're going to try to be as patient as we can on this trade. Took another piece out there. We're still holding 80% of this short at 10. So we just took another piece out for a dime there or for 8 cents or whatever at 01 there. So it's doing a lot of volume up here, WFC. So I am a little bit nervous that it hasn't fallen back in. So, when you're taking a short off of a blow off top like that, it should react by now already. So that's the one thing here. So we are starting to get a little bit out. It's still going to be fine. You know, we're managing the position. That's what we try to do the best here. And then just try to scalp some out. So I do have some more bids down here. If we crack below, I'm in the 80s to see if we can get that. But see how it's just resisting? Like, watch, see that? Like, it breaks through. It goes to 98, and then someone just basically markets it right back up through 58 one more time. So WFC right now is holding 58, and I definitely understand that. So this is a name that we're going to have to try to get lighter on right now. I don't even mind getting out right now a little bit more. Let's put another bid here. There it is. So it just cranks right through us. Let's cancel now our 89s. Hopefully this will now follow through. We're out of 30% of this short only for dimes, but we're doing that because it's not going down. NASDAQ coming down here. Look at the S&P coming down. Here we go. Coming down. So hopefully this means WFC coming down. Palantir, man, we have about 15% of this trade left, and you can see all the way down. Cashed out at 03, cashed out at 13s, cashed out at 15s. Possible reload spot here. I'm going to keep it a little bit lower right now. So if this goes down, that's fine. We've cashed out a lot on this play already. So as you know, boom to the upside. Let's see if Palantir holds. I don't know, man, but WFC one more time there. It does go to the downside, and we should have got filled in the 80s, but we canceled it. So let's see if it still wants to go to the downside. Put a bid now 90, as that's where it stopped. Yeah,
I took a little bit out of Virgin Galactic there, just trying to churn some profit, but just watching a couple of things. Volatility pulling back. Whether you track UVXY or VXX, doesn't really matter. It's about the pattern. We're barcoding on a lower high, and I think if that breaks further to the downside, you'll get a decent move to the upside again. And you have to watch that for the momentum names. I was asked about Moderna, and look, I wanted the pop and fade trade, and that's what I was watching for at that 204. It doesn't give it to you. It just blows right through the level, so that trades out. It tries to come into the next cluster. It doesn't quite get to what would have been. And I didn't even go over this because I didn't think we'd get up here about this 216 channel, sort of into this chop here at 220. We never got there, so there was never an actionable trade for me. Now, if you're looking for the longer Moderna, that 204, 205 area, that turns into, I think, potential support. If it holds that, I think you're looking for a long. But, right now it's got way too wide of a berth for me to want to be in it. I'm still looking at the names we were talking about before. BBIG, Vinco Ventures, retesting this 330 level. Obviously, I missed out the bounce at 330. It never came high enough or close enough to the double top for me to like it. But that 330 is a pretty key level. I guess I can show you on the daily chart here. Where are you? Here we go. This is your 330. It was a previous top after it broke down at $4. So 330 is pretty key. If it gets below that price, Vinco could be trying to dip back into the $3 range. Brendan.
Chip makers, guys, we were talking about a few of these this week. I just noticed Taiwan again. Wow, what a day for TSM. Was down pre-market. Nothing but green candles here for Taiwan Semiconductor.
A big shout out again. I don't know if you looked at DOMA yet. You mentioned doing that, but a big shout out to Tarek. Thank you so much, guys. Expecting to dominate their competitors by faster title searches and faster mortgage closing process. Okay, that seems pretty interesting, especially now with real estate going to be hot again, man, with all these interest rates raising up. Like, I don't think people are exactly aware, Neil, that, how high up your interest rates can fly, so watch out for that. WFC, we reloaded the short, but it doesn't look great here. So let's see if we get something out there it is. We just took some more out at 17. There it is. So we're now out of WFC, and we actually just reversed long. So let's get out of that one now on WFC. We don't want to be long. There we go. We're out of it. So WFC closed the trade off. A good trade today, but it just took out the top. So we are dancing around. And look, we don't have that much damage here. We were able to get them out, majority of them out at 58. We just took some out again at 10, and then some out there at 17. And now, of course, so there we go. Like, now I'm going to think again that was a fake out on the top, but whatever. We'll just... Maybe it was. Maybe we should short. What's XLF doing right now? Okay, this is just a 1 minute chart. So same kind of blowout there to the top side. Now starting to go back down. Yeah, we may have just taken out the top there on WFC. Should we try it one more time? I don't know. I keep going back to the well. Why do that when we have a monster? Yes, sir. Money. Right now on Rivian, I'm just beside myself that we never got that reload right there. Missed it by 10 cents. And their Rivian just cranked to 79.40. That's probably a decent out right there, as this is now $1.20 in the money. So a good trade here for Rivian, as that's coming back down to the downside, as a lot of these shorts starting to now come in.
Yeah, exactly. The market's turning a little bit here, and I am watching at SBEV. As someone asked about it, it never got to 350, which is the level I would have been a little more interested in, but it has now broken back below 3. The trend is reversed. If you look at the halts, you're looking like a 275 area right here. That's your nearest support level on SBEV. But if we have free shorts, which I didn't double check for, I'm going to be looking to take this off of that $3 level. It looks like it's on the reversal window.
Guys, 10:30 coming up in about 15 minutes. Great guest coming through. Strategic Minerals, interesting story. Tin, their top product. So we're going to talk to a tin miner coming up here in about 15 minutes. Stick around for that. In the meantime, speaking of Europe, let's go over to Miss V and get a check on what's happening over there. Last day of the week, Miss V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are slightly down. Software company SAP trading in Germany posted a 28% jump in fourth quarter revenue. But as I mentioned, the market are slightly down. So SAP is flat on the day. Back to you.
I just noticed, guys, this is exactly why we have Arun on every single morning. Top tick on that last upward motion for the ES, 46.55, exactly what he was talking about today.
Yeah, actually, I was just telling Sean, I am not trading SBEV. It's 21 cents a share to short this thing, and it's only a $2.80 stock. I feel like that's not even justified. I don't really think that's that justifiable here. It would really have to pop, I think, for that to make any sense. So anyways, I'm not going to be trading SBEV. 21 cents? Like, give me a break. I was expecting like 5 tops, maybe even 3. Yeah, that's crazy. By the way, DWAC, as I try to come back from this, there we go. DWAC just cracked to the downside, so it looks like it does not break up. This is another name. It just never really came into the levels that we liked. Virgin Galactic back down to 970, close to 975. I'm on the bid. Why am I not getting filled? Where am I on this bid? Oh, no, sorry. I'm actually a little bit closer to 75. So just a couple of ticks away from the next target out on Virgin Galactic. That'll take some out in front of the low of the day. This is basically still in the same range when it broke 10 this morning. So I don't think too much has changed here. Although I'll tell you right now, if AMC is going to do the reload.
Oh, shoot, AMC.
Whoops. I know it's on the New York. What's going on, Neil? If it's going to be a reload, it's got to be right here in front of.
Oh, it touched 21, eh?
In front of that $20 level. It touched 21. It's back to VWAP. I got the long when it took 15 just because that's what the opening range was. And now you're coming back into VWAP, which oddly enough is right around that 15 level. So if it gets a consolidation, fair enough. Otherwise, I'm sticking with the plan, man. I did take some out in front, so I can hold this to 50s, and then it's basically close to break even. Otherwise, I find myself a reload spot. I just feel like the reversal was on for this name on a 20 failed break. And it's not like 20 wasn't a failure. Like, it gave you the great look all the way down to 1950. So it's not like that was not a bad trade at all. It just then started barcoding in the range and then broke up. So to me, that's a reversal. If it holds this same level, I think it's a chance to add. But I need to see it consolidate first. It's got to calm itself down. I just saw DWAC break down, not hold its support levels. I need to see AMC show some support before I need to add back into it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look at Rivian a little bit higher level, but it's really not doing anything. I mean, we have a 20-minute chart here on Rivian as well, and it's just kind of caught in the middle here, which is fine. It's just there's really, like, we missed that reload, and then now I'm like debating what to do with this thing. Maybe we just get out. We've already seen, like, how low is it really going to go? Like, is 78.50 pretty low for Rivian? Obviously that's what we are looking at, and then I just feel bad, like, giving up this dollar here if that's something that we wind up giving up here on Rivian. That's just. It probably needs to be taken. That's basically all that I'm trying to say here. It's been a nice move to the downside. So I'm debating right now on this name, like, if we break back above like 80, we'll probably just take this out and then be upset about doing that because it probably will fall once we do that. But Rivian right now, I don't know. As long as the NASDAQ, I'm just nervous that the NASDAQ turns around, right? And then all of a sudden we don't have that fill that we were looking for. So on that note, let's just get out of let's get out of this, and then maybe we'll just reverse it. The NASDAQ is trying to bounce a little bit. I'll feel bad though, like if we get out and this comes to the downside. So I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about this position. But anyways, that's Rivian. We have an average into Palantir yet. We almost did. I think it needs to get back down into here like 75 area for me to average in to play off this 69. We'd rather put on big shares right at this point than like sit around and just scalp out for 5 or 6 pennies. I think that's a dangerous thing to do right now. So that's why we had to let this go to the upside, because if we lost again, right, it's just about playing the ratios. Like if we lost on that one, we don't want to get hit too bad. So we had to put on, it was a big position, but we're waiting to reload it down here and then use some of these as our outs. So for right now, Palantir's not really in that reload spot. I'd rather it get into the mid 70s to do that. So that's really what I'm waiting for. And then I'm also waiting, as I said, to give me a sign here on Rivian on what to do. I may just get out if this breaks 80. And that way, at least we take some profits. And then if it does fall to the downside, then hey, we still have it on. I'm just worried about that like one little bump up that gets us out at 80 and then it tanks. So we've seen that happen to us numerous times. So that's something that we're looking at for sure.
I know one thing I tried to, or said I wanted to be able to do, is reverse on key levels a heck of a lot more than I did last year. GFAI was at that 140. This is the 140 level support, broke in, turns into resistance. That's why we liked 140. You know I'm going to take a shot all the way shorting in front of it, tight stop. It broke, and this is what it did. And this is, it has to, whether it's a reversal here or it's taking it the second time, but you have to have the stock up. I think I was watching, pretty sure Smile Direct at the particular time, so I had flipped level 2s, so I was watching Smile Direct. It consolidates right in the same range and then breaks out the high, and now it's gonzo. So that trade's come and gone. But if you do look back towards the daily chart, you can find this top here shy of $2, but 188, well, 185 to $2. That's the next level up. So I'll go right back to the other side of the trade and start looking for GFAI and a turn between 185 and $2. It's back on the radar. It's back in the target range that we want. So I'm going to be back to all over it. And speaking of DWAC, or speaking of back to DWAC, it didn't hold 68 the first time. Like that was a key level in the higher time frame, and it hasn't really held all that well. It's whipped below and sort of come back, whip below and come back, but each time it has come back when it's pulled below it. So if it can, as I say it, it's probably going to break 68. But if it can actually consolidate above, then I think there would be some signs that it could continue to run. I have only wanted to short pops and not breakdowns, and I'm going to stick with that plan. So until it gets to a high, which is retesting the high, or even 75 or 77, I don't want to be putting the short on. I want to be looking for a long that I can control a loss in. And I think if it were to consolidate here off 68, then I would have something that would make some sense. Going to head to Brendan for what is an obviously interesting board today. Whipsaw action everywhere, so let's get the sector watch.
Yeah, Sector Watch brought to you by ShareVision today. And yeah, I mean, it could be a lot worse, right? Yeah, we're down, but 0.44% for the S&P. So all said and done, could be a lot worse. Want to start down here. Semiconductors, very, very strong right across the board. The entire group back in positive territory so far today, offsetting weakness from some of the software makers, hardware equipment makers as well. Pretty flat overall. So tech sector, a bit of a tale of two stories. Really impressive moves right across the board for all of the semis so far today. Flip over to this side to show you LVS, WIN, and MGM. That is all you need to know as far as consumer discretionary is concerned today. So big moves, 8.5%, 14% for LVS, helping to offset what is obviously a pretty weak sector overall, the consumer discretionary group. Industrials down here, the entire thing basically in negative territory, including the rest of the travel names. Pretty strong yesterday for airlines, cruise lines, and hotels, but back to the downside for most of them. The only other note, far corner over there, energy stocks. We saw that nice move Sean was mentioning for crude oil. So all of the energy names back in positive territory. That's Disney, 3.6%. Guggenheim with the downgrade on Disney today. So 0.3, I mean, we'll take it, guys. Overall, could be worse for the S&P.
Right, that downgrade on Disney.
man.
Yeah, we're just like, I don't understand that.
Guggendies.
I mean, I understand the play, but at the same time, like Disney has a lot working for it. We thought, especially the reopen, this is down 3.6%. This probably, not probably, I believe this is way too low here for Disney. So I don't know. I was not expecting it to even retest really. Retest the 50 period, fine, but make a move down to it's almost at lows. I mean, how low can you go? How low can you go? Yeah, how low?
I used to be able to limbo, but
Yeah, so I mean, okay, we reloaded a little bit on WFC there. We'll see if that goes to the downside, but yeah, Disney again. I'm not sure how low it can go, but wow, big time movement to the downside. And I want to go back to Cancun, Mine Riviera. That's where we had our Cancun's not Mine Riviera, but that's where we had our honeymoon, Mine Riviera. I've been to Cancun a couple times. Someone actually said it's on my mind because someone tweeted at me from the sticky note, and they're like, "Oh, we love the sticky note," and I'm reading it here from Cancun, and I almost said, "Tweet me a picture," but then it would be like great weather. And today, although listen to this about.
You know what?
People don't understand. People understand. People that live here understand how up and down the weather is here in lovely Canada. But we were 1 degree or 2 or 3 degrees Celsius yesterday. Okay. Right now we are -7. Okay, that's not bad. It's not bad, -7. But it's going down to -20 tonight. So obviously wind chill, like Neil said, wind is a big issue here. Obviously in Toronto, we were right off that lake.
I get to see if the garage door holds up.
Anyway. Oh yeah, that's right. You have a garage door controversy going on.
Yeah, I'll tell that story. Maybe I'll tell that story in the after. It's really not that exciting.
We just got a nice bid there on WFC, but there is some size here trying to follow this thing down on WFC. So I just didn't mean to interrupt, but there is some size there. So we are now again short here at 24. We've tried the short up here a couple times. Now I think we can hold this and see if it does fall back into VWAP, but I just noticed that there was maybe some size bringing this down, so I can't blame anybody for taking a little bit of profit. We're 20 cents in the money. I'm going to take another piece right now. We're still in 80%. We'll take one more piece and hold 70 and see if we can't go to the downside.
Someone actually just asked a question, Buffalo top dog, who am I picking? Buffalo and Bills versus Patriots, who I pick? Who am I picking? Bills versus the Patriots? Come on, son.
Here, I'll tell you.
It's not even a question. Tom Brady's gone. The Patriots are gone.
You're asking
it's over.
A Bills fan.
It's destruction tomorrow. They're winning by 10 at least. It's not going to be exciting. In the second half, I'm just going to be chilling with scotch, and it's like, forget about it. It's over, and I won't even be sweating the game. That's what it's going to be all about because the good Josh Allen is coming through. We love you, Josh Allen. Stephon Diggs going to kill him. Well, it'll probably be more Gabriel Davis. If you're looking for props, Belichick will shut down Stephon Diggs, and Singletary's going to have a touchdown. But this is not a touchdown because I said a firm 75. I didn't do anything about a firm 75. I missed that turn, and it's right back to the bottom. So I did say go to the well to the names that you like on the reversals, but I missed it on a firm here as that curled and came all the way back to that downside. And and it's not to say, I'm not saying the Disney downgrade doesn't. I understand why people are beating up on Disney. I'm just surprised that it's down this much when the market, sort of has been. A lot of names are going sideways, but Disney, if you look at it, I mean, it's retaken this 150 level, but it had been stair-stepping here. 142 low, 145, 146 low. So I would love to see it. Let's put in a higher low once again. So it needs to settle above. If it retests those lows, that's going to be pretty ugly for Disney on the downgrade. Obviously, that news. I mean, Guggenheim's been they've made some calls where if you haven't been paying attention to that board when Guggenheim's been on it in the last week, you kind of been missing out on some trades. I'm going to go back to Vinco Ventures here because that just popped off of 330 and back into VWAP. So once again, 330 manages to hold. I want to short a breakdown at 330, but because it now sets up, it had a higher low at 355, 356. I can actually short 50s here and only risk about 5 to 10 cents, which is about the way you want to get into it. So I am going to look for a play here. Not going to be holding this forever. And I do still like that 330 level, but a scalp trade has presented itself on Vinco Ventures. So if I can catch it here, maybe I'll try to get a midpoint, 49.5 or 50s. I'll see if I can't get into this short. But it'll be a relatively tight stop, though.
We're getting ready to get killed again on WFC, but we did, thank God, got out of 30% for, down to 06s like we talked about. There was some size following it down. I'm guessing that they got blown out there, and so there's another trade here. WFC, as you can see, we're getting in a little bit of trouble trading it near these highs because I am short bias in a stock that's up 4%, so that could possibly be a problem, but we're reloaded now. Our short on WFC is 31s. Going to just try to get some out again in the 20s if we're lucky enough to do that. And I have a 4-fold parlay here to tell you about when we get done from our guest of the day. But hey, it's over to Brendan. Let's go.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, we're happy to take a trip to the mining sector today. We're going to talk to strategic minerals, and you're going to hear about tin, tantalum, and niobium, three key metals that are used in everyday life, and in some cases, in ways that you might not be familiar with. Jamie Perez-Branger is the CEO of the company and joins us on the show for the first time. We're happy to have you, a brand new or recent addition to the NEO exchange here in Toronto. Guys, if you're looking for the symbol, it's SNTA on the NEO exchange. Great to have you, Jamie. Let's talk a little bit about some of the company's operations here. As we said, tin, the main focus.
Well, thanks very much for having us. We're excited to have listed on the exchange, and yes, I mean we have three key elements on what we call the new green economy. Tin, tantalum, and niobium. Tin is used, everyday uses of tin to avoid corrosion on tin cans, on welding. The alloys that you use between tin and niobium allows us to make supercharged magnets, and niobium, for instance, is used not only on capacitors, which is the main use of niobium, but also in the healthcare industry. What people don't know, tantalum strips can be used to replace bones, for instance, in the human body, and muscles can grow in the tantalum replacements that you have in the body. So things like that. Niobium, if you use less than 0.5% of niobium, 0.05% of niobium as an alloy with steel, you reduce the use of steel by 30% in terms of production. So because you have an increased strength, because you have a thinner plate, and therefore it also helps on the green imprint. So it has not only uses in terms of allowing us to go into the technical industry, but it also reduces the consumption of traditional minerals. Also, by being in Spain, I mean, particularly tantalum and niobium, most of the production of tantalum and niobium today comes from conflict zones. Being in Spain, we're the largest producer of tin, tantalum, and niobium in the European zone. We are a non-conflict company. We just, we supply companies that at the same time produce parts for the end users that are always and mostly concerned with having non-conflict minerals, and every day more so. And therefore, we're particularly placed for that. The other thing that I would say about this company is that we have basically de-risked a lot of what companies like this that come into the markets do. I mean, the founders have been involved in this project for about 6 or 7 years. We went from greenfield to brownfield to production. We're a company that is producing today. We went from tailings production in order to prove the plant capacity in terms of economic value and economic feasibility. Basically, I mean, there is a lot of tin production in the past, but tin, together with tantalum and niobium, it hasn't been a cookie cutter. So we did that, we did risk that by the founders on money, and now we're going from tailings to the open pit, where we have 2 to 2.5 times more mineralization that we did. I mean, tailings by definition have been demineralized. I mean, you've taken most of the minerals out of that. And as we speak today, we began working in the open pit, and we're producing, and we should be producing as of this month or next month, 2 to 2.5 times more concentrate than we are. And that means cash flow. I mean, at the end of the day, we're producing cash flow, which a lot of the investors are looking for. I mean, a lot of these projects that come into the market today are 3 to 5 years into production, going into getting permits and getting, certifying reserves. We have about 75 million tons of reserves certified by SRK under a 43101, certification process, and we have a plant that is capable of producing today, processing 1 million tons of material. Once we go into the open pit. Our next step is going from 1 to 2 to 2.5 to 3 million ton capacity. So we should increase even more our cash flow production. At these levels, we should be producing, all things remaining equal, we should be producing, between 10 and $15 million of cash flow on this year alone. Hopefully, we will have other issues that will increase our efficiencies, like better recoveries and access to a better pool of mineralization than we had in the past, and those things will be worked out as we move along. So, we have an exciting, and this just on one of the mines that we have, which is the one that is producing today. We have 3 other properties that we are beginning to develop, and we're doing exploration work as we speak. This year, we'll go into our second property that we have already the permits to go into exploration, and that property is very similar to the one that we have today in terms of mineralization, but it also has the added mineral of lithium, which makes it exciting for a whole bunch of other issues. Not the least, just to mention that, not the least the fact that the European Union has declared minerals like niobium and tantalum, critical for supply, on the supply chain for the European Union. So, we're excited.
It's an exciting story. The ESG angle specifically worth looking into further. Again, non-conflict area with all kinds of demand and all kinds of growth prospects coming. Jamie Perez-Branger, CEO of the company, joining us today, guys. Again, SNTA, recent listing on the NEO exchange here in Toronto, Strategic Minerals Europe Corporation. A pleasure to speak to you today, sir. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
You too.
The tin mining sector, guys.
Yeah, I mean the Just 100 list just got released as well,
awesome.
which of course ESG is the thing. And if you're not sort of paying attention to the notion that that big money is concerned with where it should be from an ethical level, then it's something to be aware of for investing. I'm not saying you got to check every single ESG score before we put money into it, but that's mattered for a while. Talk about getting out of this by the skin of my teeth. So you guys in the chat, I know you're talking about BBIG here. Obviously, took the short off of VWAP. I said I was going to give it a tight stop, gave it a tight stop, then broke, goes right to what level? What level? Right to yesterday's high at 385. Now, the only excuse for not having this short is you will see that I am short GFAI, which held 215, which is a good level on the daily chart. And I shorted that at 211. That's down at 179. So about the only reason I didn't try this on BBIG Vinco Ventures is because I was in a related sort of name spiking to the upside. But hey, here's that double top that we thought might be able to happen here today. So now that it's happened, it's 385. There's a level at 4. The consolidation below it is right here. And if it blows out the top again, it blows out the top. But if I can catch it off the top, it's just, look, I can't ignore the risk to reward of a trade like this. So I'm going to try and get it in this range. If it takes out 85, I wouldn't touch it again until $4. But anyways, tight stop short down at VWAP. It will be a tight stop short again here. I just picked it up. Picked it down, picked it up. Who cares? At 81s in front of this 385 high.
All right, so a few things happening right now when you guys were gone. News about possible delays in the AR headset for Apple, but it was more just trying to short it in front of VWAP here, coming down to the downside. Obviously, the Nasdaq's a little bit in trouble, I'd say today. We're down 0.13 now. We tried to take out some of those highs, and we missed it just recently on the Nasdaq, and we're hovering around VWAP. So I was kind of thinking that maybe we'd have a downward move here in the market heading into the rest of the day. So that we put on the Apple trade, and now we're 40 cents in the money, but we did take out how much? We took out 40%. Each one of these is 20, unfortunately. 20% out there at 72. So a good trade happening right there for us. And then we reloaded Rivian. And the thing is that I'm sitting here at 65 on Rivian, like 79, 65 right into here. It tipped down as low as 65 right there. So I'm thinking about now putting this like in the mid 70s. Let's just do that right now. Let's cancel our 65 there and put it in the mid 70s. And hopefully we'll get that bid now on Rivian down into 70s somewhere. So hopefully that will come through. And other than that, we're almost, I thought yeah, we were very, very close to a reload area here on Palantir. I want to get 75s, but that might be a little bit too low for that. We might as well. What are we long at, 93? Okay, we can try a reload right now on Palantir then, as now it's coming back down. We can wait, actually. Why not wait? We just got our Rivian bid. We're actually at 75 on Palantir, but I don't know, maybe that doesn't hit. So let's put a bid out now on Palantir, I guess, and take a little bit of shares here at 80 if we can, which we will be able to, and then we'll take a little bit more if it comes back down into 75. So that's sort of my plan of action here for Palantir, and we're just going to see if it can work. But right now, we'll see about that. We should have reloaded that at 80. We just missed it. We were just talking about that. Apple going back to the upside, and there we got our Rivian bid. We were sitting there in the 70s, like we said, 76 on the bid there of Rivian. So we took some more profit there. And Apple, again, the NASDAQ starting to go back up. So we do have our Apple out, and that's going to be a breakthrough 61. So basically a little bit higher than VWAP. We have that level right there that we're going to get out of Apple, but I got to change the order now because we already got out of some, so we don't want to be over the long.
Yeah, I mean to go over GFI and show you guys the chart, but it's BBIG Vinco Ventures came in here. I took the 381. It stopped 385, but you'll see it's a failed break. It never got even close to that 4. It slams right back down. I like failed breakouts to jump back into the exact same trade, so I have. This time I did get some out here in the bottom end of the range just for that 5 cents. It's kind of 1-to-1 at that area, so might as well take some profit, and I'll get it out all the way down into VWAP if that's where it wants to go. So Vinco's starting to work. We talked about, obviously we talked about bank earnings, but there's a few other names on this list, one of which at some point I might get back into, Brendan.
Yeah, interesting names. Let's get the earnings board for Tuesday, not Monday, Tuesday, guys, for earnings.
Things. Okay, yeah, so that's not, crazy. It's not Monday. Oh, that's right, it's a holiday.
Yep.
How am I forgetting that it's a holiday? Okay, so it's a holiday. That'll be Tuesday. Look, Silvergate, again, this is another one of those high-flying, it's a crypto bank. The Silvergate Exchange, you can read up on it. Pretty interesting in the space, but that stock just got way too overheated and got very, very dislocated from crypto prices. And I'll be the first to tell you, when you're in these short plays, getting out too early is it seems bad, but it's not really that bad. Oh, come on, go back a little bit further here. It's not really that bad of a thing when they start to come back in pretty heavily. Now, this got into those 200s, and I was bailing most of it in the 150s, and then it's slammed back down. But look at the great support it has between 100 and 120. I think if it retests these lows, that's a reload area, especially if Bitcoin's above 40,000, and this slams back down to 100. I think it'll be a buy for me, but it is what it is. Silvergate, I'm going to be watching, of course, the rest of the banks we care about as it comes back in through, Sean.
Yeah, I was watching out for Apple right now. Yeah, I think, you know what? I don't know. We'll see what happens during lunchtime. It's generally pretty slow trading during lunchtime, especially on a Friday, especially like I was saying, with some bad weather on the East Coast and whatnot. So I'm not sure how this market will hold up in the lunchtime, but I do favor the short into lunchtime. So if that helps you guys when we throw it over to Market Movers, I will be favoring the short. I am short Apple, but I did just get the long into PLTR. So right now I'm debating my own little logic here that if I think the market's going to be short, then I shouldn't really be in any of these names. But we are short Apple, so that's going to be a good one, and we'll just hold out hope that Palantir can somehow hold these levels. But hey, we have a quick out on this one if it does break. But Ms. V, what's up?
Hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful Friday morning, and thank you so much for all the support, for all the super chats. Welcome all the new members, and guys, thank you so much for likes. We need just 300 more to get to 2,000. So please, if you didn't like this video yet, do it right now and help us to get 2,000. Join Prad and me finally for Market Movers right after, and happy National Hot Pastrami Sandwich Day, everyone.
Look, man, we were just sort of talking about you get it. Look, get a good smoked meat sandwich with some. I'm not not like the generic
hard to beat.
Not the generic mustard, but you want a quality.
Yeah, you gotta have the deli, they making their own mustard, or they're adding their own spices in there. You gotta have some sort of a Dijon type
good
of
hot
thing.
soup with it.
Yeah, like I said, especially on a day like today. Yeah, we're loving.
That looks so good.
Soup,
the way that picture
right now. Proudly is in a dress shirt again. So that's going to be exciting. I hope his dad didn't get mad. I don't know if he bought this himself or if he took it out of his dad's closet.
He can afford
again, but
it.
you're going to hear the story, I'm sure, about that coming up very, very soon. It's 11 o'clock now. A good show, Neil. I'm short Rivian. I'm short Apple. I'm long Palantir. So we'll see where this goes. It's been a good morning. WFC blew out to the top side. It keeps on going. Look what's at 52-week lows. Clover, Rocket Mortgage, Twitter, Roku, MindMed. MindMed's $1. Peloton, 31. Snapchat, 38.
The firm has to
Chewy,
be too,
46. Right? I don't follow a firm.
I assume it is.
Let's call a firm at its all-time lows, or 52-week lows. What happened to buy now, pay never? We're going to throw it over right now to Prad and Miss V. Let's go.
Welcome to Market Movers. I'm your host, Prad. This is the beautiful Miss V.
Hey guys, I'm so happy to be back. Thank you very much for joining us today. Please, as usual, be active on the chat, ask us anything, and please support and smash the like button. Big shout out to Prad. You did great. I missed you so much.
Missed you too. I'm just all smiles right now all day.
So here, so happy to be back. Thank you. And yes, it's a busy trading day. A lot of discussions